Okay. Everybody
I
good?
need my red
Check one.
My check one.
Give me a little bit like it. I can hear you.
Oh, and
Check
we got
one,
plug.
check.
Testing.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can you hear it?
I can hear you, but I can't hear you.
I can't hear.
You can hear?
I can't
You
hear.
can't hear?
Testing, testing.
One,
Okay.
1, 2. Can you hear me?
Check.
Yeah.
Nope.
You can hear?
Test, test.
I can hear you real good.
You can?
I can't hear you.
It might be
Can't
those
hear it out
headsets.
the
It might be.
speaker.
It might be the headset. Say check one more time.
Check.
Check, check, check,
Check one.
Might be the speakers.
check. I don't hear it on the speaker.
Oh.
I don't hear it on
All
the
right, check,
speaker.
1, 2,
I don't
1,
hear
2.
anybody on the speaker.
Check 1, 2, 1, 2.
Check, check.
Try now. Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2, 1,
to
2.
get the plug. It's on my
Check
purse.
1, 2, 1, 2.
My check one.
Everybody's up.
You
It's
hear
on
me?
the plug, my phone. and
Check
so
one,
I-
2, 3. Check.
Hit your speakers and
I can hear.
I cannot hear myself.
You cannot. It might be the headsets though.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
I really don't need,
The headsets.
I really don't need them.
Okay.
It
Speak.
says that make my hair look like it's
Yeah, that's what
like
she
I
means.
combed
That's
it.
a lady
Check
thing, I
one,
told
two,
you.
three. Check.
Not just me.
I can hear you on speakers. Yeah, I can hear you on speakers. Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you on speakers.
Check
Good.
one.
Okay.
Testing, testing.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all ready? Are we ready?
Ready as we ever gonna be.
All right. We're gonna start with the music.
What you playing?
Huh. Oh.
1989.
No. I got my intro.
Maybe your chest cover down just a little bit.
All right.
Check one.
Yeah.
You like my sound man at the church.
Hear the music. Music's loud. Make sure all the phones are on silence.
You ready?
All right. This is 411 Sports Talk Radio on 4radionetwork.com. I am the Benchwarmer, hanging out. I got the crew here today. I got the crew plus one. You need to be turned down a little bit more. That better?
No, you went all the way
Yeah,
down.
you went way
There we go.
down.
All right.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. You know, we produce on the fly.
You produce on the fly.
Right. So I'm the Benchwarmer. Right next to me is security. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah.
And you?
I'm good. You guys
I'm
There you go.
good.
There you go. Now
How
we can
are
hear
you?
There you go. Next to me is the incomparable professor. We missed you last week, but you was doing the Dallas Wings game.
On assignment.
On assignment. Yeah, you was on
Yes.
assignment. There you go.
Yes, sir. All is well. God is good all the time.
And all the time.
Amen.
Let's get this thing
There you
rolling.
go. There you go.
Yes.
Next to the professor is someone that you guys know. She's been around for about 200 or 300 years.
Cedric.
Well, 200 or 300 years in dogs.
You don't say
Don't-
that about
don't
a
even
lady.
try.
Are you serious?
You started going from bad to worse.
Oh my goodness.
He's on a roll.
Anyway, I mean, 2
She's
years.
only 21.
Y'all know.
Why are
I
you
know.
playing?
I know. Well, you know, but
She told me 16.
see.
Oh, see.
Anyway,
Okay.
Cheryl Smith, how are you doing,
I'm
Cheryl?
doing great. How are you? How's everyone?
Everybody's doing well. I'm doing good.
We're gonna talk about
Yes.
what you're here for, but I gotta introduce the crew and everything. And then we got right next to her, who's gonna keep everybody in line, at least try to, is the preacher. What's happening,
Preach, preacher.
Oh, man!
Preach, preacher.
Let the church say amen.
Let's say amen. There you go.
Yes.
Amen.
Keep us in line.
All right, so how's your weekend, preacher?
It was marvelous. A good Father's Day.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, even though I still miss my dad. I really enjoyed the whole weekend. It was, I'm still full.
You got Old Spice and socks and a tie.
Hey, you know what? The top three. No.
She said Old Spice.
Oh, English.
Oh, English. Oh, my
What,
goodness.
you got some OE?
Yeah.
A 40?
Yeah. Hey, I keep blowing the dust off of it, but yeah.
Cheryl, how was your weekend?
A good one. Every day is good.
There you go.
Amen.
Every day we can wake up, right?
Yes, yes.
Amen.
All right. Lewis, I always do this. I go around.
Father's Day was very well. I've been sitting at home with the family, taking care of my wife as well. She's struggling this summer with lupus.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the picture I posted of her
Yeah, I did see
yesterday?
that. I did see
How
that.
her face was really, I mean, her face just burnt right
Yeah, I
now.
did see that. Yeah.
But I'm trying my best to be there for her and to keep her spirits up because right now she's not feeling it in terms of going out in
Appearance
public
and stuff.
places and stuff. I mean, it's just nothing that she can do.
Right, right. Well, you're doing a good job.
So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I have several relatives who have lupus.
Really?
And one of my cousins has been, she's had 2 transplants, and she's had it since like 1975.
Wow.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a long time.
And sure, there.
Security,
Before and after.
how was your weekend?
It was great. It was good. Got to spend time with the father, with Big Daddy. I didn't go see my dad, but I got to go see. We call my
okay.
father-in-law Big
Big
Daddy,
Daddy,
Okay.
and then Little Daddy. No. I'm kidding.
Oh,
This
that's
Big Papa. This Big Papa.
That's for that.
Big Daddy.
That's for that 200-year mark, right? That's the get back, right?
And my grandfather-in-law, he's 90.
He's 90, yeah.
Or 90.
Yeah, he's
He's
90.
90. We
Yeah.
got to spend
My
time with him.
great-uncle.
Your
Yeah,
great uncle.
yeah.
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 Spend time with him.
It was a good time.
So
You
it
know,
was a good time.
he's still
Saturday we just rested.
He's still walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's doing good.
yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good.
Long Shelly don't upset him.
He loves me.
You know he do have a little dementia though,
I'm telling on you.
I'm glad I'm here for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I'm usually the only lady on the show. They just go after
And
me.
they're still out there.
Yes.
It's, no. We're never outnumbered when it's 2 women, because y'all outnumber us by 4 or 5, because our brains.
But you know that.
That's
that,
right.
I
Our
love the
maturity
odds.
level.
You know that. I love the odds.
Yeah. I don't mind about that. I don't mind being
I'm the
underdog.
only man in the house. It's my way.
Anyway,
Okay,
how was
so-
your weekend, Benchwarmer?
Okay, so NBA.
How was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was good. Was good to see my grandfather. I then got to see my cousin from New York. She's down from New York. I was taking care of my grandfather.
Oh, and our youngest baby turned 18.
Yeah.
18
Xavier turned 18.
I've been crying all weekend, y'all.
Well,
Saturday.
Yeah, I'll be crying August 5th when ain't nobody here.
Yeah.
I'm crying tears of
Wait a
joy.
minute.
Tears of joy.
You ought to be. You said
No,
after
tears of
August
joy.
5th.
Where's
it's
he
just y'all
going?
girl?
He's going to Texas. with
Really?
They all
Wesley?
Mhm.
Really?
empty home.
You gonna be crying me?
No, tears of joy.
Oh,
Said
okay.
tears
I
of
was
joy.
gonna
You didn't hear
say.
me say tears
No.
of joy.
No, I was listening to him.
No,
Yeah.
tears of joy.
But
So
yeah,
let me get to
turned
let
18.
me get some news real quick. The NBA, the draft is this Thursday,
Right.
and the Mavericks pick number 5.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch them pick a big white stiff.
They should have the first 12 pick.
They're still messed
It's
up.
still not gonna help.
They still ain't gonna help.
He's not going to help at all.
The Patriots reportedly shot Rob Gronkowski to 14. Detroit Titans, Texans, and the 49ers.
Wow.
I'm trying to get, and Earl Thomas is saying he's not going to training camp.
Right. He's in a contract dispute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball says that if LeBron comes to the Lakers, he's gone.
Yeah, he will be gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He's
Yeah, I
out.
already know that.
He's out. He said,
You know that.
He said, I ain't playing
Yeah, I
with the
already
Lakers.
know that.
All right, birthdays, real quick. Zoe
Zoe
Saldana.
Saldana.
I just butcher names all day long.
Wait, Zoe
Zoe
Saldana.
Saldana. She is what age? Give me an age. Somebody.
I don't know who she
39.
30.
I'm gonna say 43. I don't even know who she is.
You just
She
don't
was
know.
in Avatar
34.
and Guess
I
Who.
think she's 40.
Yeah.
And what was the other movie she was in?
39.
I don't know, Guess
Death at a
Who.
Funeral.
Wasn't she
The
in?
dinner movie
Yeah. Wasn't she in?
with Bernie Mac.
With Bernie Mac.
Yeah, Guess Who.
Guess Who? Yeah.
That was
I'll say
funny.
she's 43.
And the first, what was she?
Oh, Drumline. She sure was.
Drumline, yeah,
She was
yeah,
in
okay. I
Drumline.
saw that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's who.
Yeah. That was, I
So,
think, her first movie.
What do you say?
I'll say about 43.
What's
He said 43. You
You
couldn't
said
say the
43.
same thing as Professor.
All right.
Wait a
You
minute,
gotta choose a
wait.
different. Well, it don't matter. 40 was right.
I said 39.
Okay.
Oh, 40
Cheryl
was
I
right.
said 40
Okay.
at first.
Ah,
Dirt Nowitzki.
Dirk Nowitzki is 40.
You saw
I'll tell you right now. That's too easy.
All right.
Don't say Dirk.
Yeah.
Mm.
Remember Three's? Remember
Three's Company.
No, not Three's Company, but golly, Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mo, Larry, Curly,
Yeah.
and Shemp.
It's
So
really
Mo, it was four.
It was
Larry,
four.
Curly, and
Mo,
Shemp,
Larry,
but
Curly,
but
and
only
Shemp.
3 played on the show.
Okay.
At a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't remember that, do you?
No.
Okay.
Actually, it
Okay.
was, actually, it was 4.5 because there was 2 Curlys.
There was 2 Curlys.
Yeah.
Oh, now that I
Yeah,
don't
there was 2
remember.
Curlys.
There
Yeah.
were 2 Curlys?
Yeah.
See,
So he died on
See,
this
I'm
day.
not old
So he was
enough.
born on this day.
Oh.
who?
Mo Howard from 1897.
Mo, the one with the mushroom
Yeah.
hair.
Mo, the bowl cut.
Mo, the one that
With
was
the
up.
bowl cut.
Is that what it's
Bo-
called?
Yeah, that was called bowl cut.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't know what it was called.
Yeah.
The new so the new black mother for all mothers, Felicia Rashad. She is.
Oh.
She is
Look at her.
60.
No, I keep her around my age, cause
62.
just in case.
What's your
Oh,
age?
just in case you got a chance.
You 100.
Wow.
Hey, I'm be
I'm
there.
68.
68. You got 62.
I want to say
Not even close, huh?
73.
Oh!
No, she's
I don't think she's in her
69.
70s.
All right, she is 70.
No way!
Yeah, man.
She looks good.
She is 70.
Oh my goodness, I want to look like her when I get to be 70.
Hey,
Lionel
The Lord
Richie,
said
tomorrow will be
same.
Lionel Richie's birthday.
Lionel
he 80.
Richie.
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh.
Because he,
Does he still have his hair?
what did you say?
Yeah, he ain't no 80 years old.
He's 70.
Lionel
One.
Richie.
No.
I'm going to say he's 66.
65, I was going to say.
I'm trying
71.
I'm trying to remember what my ex-wife age.
Oh,
Hello?
Come on.
It's me
let me just look,
What,
how old is
81,
Tom
82?
Jordan?
Huh?
And he's not 80.
No,
He's not his
no,
age.
he's actually 69.
Oh.
69.
He's right up there with
Old for his age.
Rashad.
So he's younger
Yeah.
than my dad?
Yeah.
Wow.
Darren Sproles.
And he is coming back this season.
He is coming back, isn't he?
He is with the Eagles. I'm going to say he is 34.
36.
32.
Just throw a name, just throw a number out
30.
there. Okay. Well, technically today he's 34. Tomorrow he'll be 35.
Ah.
And a special birthday, Cheryl Smith. She is with Don't Believe the Hype.
Happy birthday, Cheryl.
She will be-
birthday.
Happy
She'll be her age
She
tomorrow.
just now turned to 21.
She will be.
Don't
Yeah.
tell her her age.
She's 7.
We got a guess.
Let her tell her own age.
She's not legal yet.
21.
Yeah,
Y'all,
but she will be 17.
I can't guess
Why not? Because you know?
because I probably know.
Oh.
You don't even know my age. No, I'm kidding.
I know your age.
Don't you do?
I know your age.
Oh, okay.
I know
Don't play.
You 29,
Not even close.
right?
Oh,
No,
21.
no.
I know
29.
the age. I'm just leaving it alone.
Anyway.
Because I know
Cheryl
his age. I
is
know
how
his
old?
age.
So how old is Cheryl?
The same age as Michael Jackson, Prince, Madonna.
You should know that.
Oh, I could count this.
Michael Jackson died at 50. How long ago was that?
She's 58. I
And
think.
Prince died when he was 50.
No. Wait, he was 50 when
He was 50 when he died.
60.
Has it been 10 years?
Yes, I think he died in 08.
Michael
No,
Jackson
he died in 09.
Yeah, Michael Jackson
He
died in
died in
08
09.
before we got married.
He died
The year before
April
we got married.
2008, I
May.
believe.
Okay.
No, was it May or June?
It was in June. It was in the summer.
It was in the summer. Now,
I'm
Prince
saying-
died in April, I believe. But 50? Are you 50? Are you celebrating
No, Michael
50
Jackson
years?
died at 50. She said she's the same age that Michael Jackson would be.
That was 2008.
Oh, that he would be. Okay, so that
You know,
was
look at her.
I'm saying
Yeah.
60.
60?
Cheryl, you want to
Oh,
look at the other
Celebrate
side?
60? Get out of town,
See
girl.
that?
You look
See, he
good,
died in
too.
08, 10 years ago. From
Yeah.
She legal
Yeah.
like you used.
But guess what? I did DNA test, and so I am probably superior to everyone in the room because I am 90% African.
Wakanda forever.
Hey, let me see something here.
Hey, okay.
So now
I know I'm African.
I'm trying to find. Yeah, I'm trying. No, we got. No, we
Bring your
got.
spirit.
Well, 80, we probably got some whites in our family.
No, no problem. We do.
We do. Yeah.
hey, we the black
I
Irish.
know.
Yeah.
What is your African heritage? Is it Ethiopian? What is it? 'Cause
No,
Ethiopians are lighter, fairer.
Cameroon.
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 They're fair too.
Oh, you got the rich black.
Yeah, you do, honey.
Oh.
I'm just 90% sound
You the
so
one.
great.
You
Yeah.
your family
I
gonna
do
put
that.
some
I know I
other
ain't
shade
gonna
people
find
in slavery
No.
That's cool. That's cool.
Man.
You know, and you think about it, and I shouldn't even say this, but so in America, when our children weren't doing what they were supposed to do, and it probably happened, but you know, we sent them to the military,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and some didn't come back, just like,
Right.
and we had no idea what we were doing, sending them to the military, sending them to Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know what was going on in Africa. You know, it's really a travesty, even when you find out that, you know, sometimes they would capture us and keep us for so many years until another ship came around.
Mm-hmm.
So you had folks getting pregnant, and they would kill the babies. They wouldn't even. I say, just leave them out there. Let them. Maybe by chance they'll live and they'll be.
Yeah, God will protect them.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah, protect. But they would kill the children.
Golly.
Yeah. So we've been through a savage lifetime, but still 90%.
There you go.
There she goes.
So if I do anything a little weird, it's that 10%. Just always remember, it's that 10% in me. That's
10%
acting a
of
fool.
what?
What's the other 10%?
So if you pronounce an aura, then what part? That's the 90%, huh? The aura.
We didn't pronounce it at all, but there's a little. Of course, I didn't even. The other didn't matter really.
You say, forget the other. Forget the other 10.
But,
I got 90.
Stuart was looking at it, but I know that there was a percentage that was Native American. But interestingly, when my mother's grandmother was full-blooded, the percentage was so low. It was really low.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I just was concerned about African and making sure that my line didn't intertwine with a certain
Other line.
number
Yeah.
45.
You got a Smith.
Amen
You're a
to
Smith,
that.
and if you go back, there are no
Ooh,
Smiths
please.
as presidents. You know, so you know, because there's plenty of Jacksons as presidents, plenty of Washingtons. Now those names are black. I'm sorry.
Well, you know they took the only reason why they hit it up like
I
that.
got
Right.
I
Come
got
on, right.
Jefferson, Lee,
Oh, yeah.
Washington, all them names in my family.
I don't want to check my.
I don't even wanna-
check my.
yeah, I don't
I
wanna
know
check.
everybody in my family they go to church.
All right, let's do this right here. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about. This is a sports show. We're in the sports show. We're going to talk about the Celebrity Bowl-a-thon this Saturday, June the 23rd, from 7:30 until what?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
From 7:30 until. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I thought she was going to take the entertainment segment.
I mean, she can. I mean that's the 8 o'clock hour.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It says celebrity first, so that's entertainment.
We producing on the show on the run.
It was in our notes.
You know where?
I'm just saying. I'm trying to flip stuff.
That's the one you balled up and threw it out the door when you answered the door.
Yeah, that's the one. All right, we'll be back. And this song right here, this is for the young lady who just is turning another age tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
This is for her. We'll be right back on 41sportsnetwork.com. Here we go.
about the rest of it.
My family was going to
All
add.
right. We're back.
15?
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I should have said 15 seconds or something like that. I should have gave you a countdown or something like that, right? All right, we're back. 41 Sports Talk Radio, 41RadioNetwork.com. The Benchwarmer, hanging out with my friends here. And we got to get into something because...
I'm not your friend.
Okay, that's good. This
Really?
I'm sorry. I'm going to be nice.
This is the dead season right here. Y'all realize that this is the dead season. Sports is the dead season. Cause
I ain't gonna say it's dead. There's
all you
always
got
something
all
going
you got
on.
is baseball. You got
We
baseball.
got
You got,
FIFA.
It's beautiful.
you got baseball.
FIFA.
You got
Viva la FIFA.
you got soccer
And
Yes.
the WNBA.
in WNBA. Yeah. Okay. And then I guess we got some golf.
Now that's the sport.
Phil Mickelson.
Yeah.
You see that, Professor?
Yeah.
That's the leg right there.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
ain't no
Tiger
lick.
don't win.
But that
It's
breakdown.
just excitement to see
Golf
him play.
is not lit, and it's not the lick.
What?
It's the leg. It's the leg.
It's not.
What is it?
That's the slowest sport and boring.
No, it's not.
It's about as boring as Major League Baseball.
What?
No.
Yes.
Baseball is not boring.
She said baseball is not boring.
Okay, now you
Although-
now you
although-
sound like my
Golf
wife.
is
Now
boring.
you sound
Although
like my
try
wife.
to cover it, I'm telling you, I'm covering baseball. I mean, I'm up in a press box. Third inning, I was out sleeping.
Yeah.
I was sitting like, man, I had to go down.
I have tried to
I
watch
love
baseball.
it.
I just can't.
I had to go down and
I
get some
like it
hot
when I'm
dogs or
at the
something like
stadium.
that.
Because you can't,
I like a
food just
close
keeps me
game.
occupied anyway.
I like
So-
a close game all the way to the 8th inning.
To 8, and then it
And
picks up.
then see who gonna really blow it out the ballpark. And if it goes over the 9th inning,
Then it's a good game. Then it becomes a good game.
Anytime you there when it had OT or extra inning, anything extra,
Or a good fight.
Yeah, a good fight.
Or a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
fight,
yeah.
yeah.
The other day,
I
yeah,
got a
yeah.
hockey game for
Best
that.
fight.
But
Yeah,
the other day wasn't a good fight
They
though.
might as well call
They
that
was just
boxing.
pushing and shoving and stuff like that.
Them
Bench is
folks.
cleared, yeah, but that really wasn't nothing though.
But you know what that remind me of?
Hmm.
When you was coming up fighting.
Oh,
Well,
when your brothers, when both your brothers tried to jump me,
Well, what did you do?
took off my belt and I went for it. I had the buckle in out.
oh boy.
You know that don't hurt us.
Anyway, okay, so the top 25 running backs. I don't think we're gonna argue about the top 3. Who's in your top 3? Anybody?
In the top.
Okay.
We're gonna do from start from the
Can
top.
I
on
tell you
bottom,
what
bottom
my
to top.
family said?
Who?
So can I tell you what my family said?
How they think I'm gonna
Hey,
run-
y'all give me
Well,
y'all
no,
opinion
can I
on
tell you
the
their
top.
picks?
Yeah.
Both of my
Type it in.
uncles, huh?
No, go ahead.
Both of my uncles said, oh gosh, they said Earl Campbell, and I'm doing it out of order, so forgive me. They said Earl Campbell,
Been married to him too long.
yes,
What's your names?
yes, Barry Sanders, and golly, who was the other one? Tim Brown?
Tim Brown was
Not
right.
Tim Brown. What's the other one?
If your
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. If your
Jim
uncle
Brown.
said Tim
Wait,
Brown, then they
No,
disqualified.
they said
Wait a minute.
Jim Brown.
Did Sanders finish out his contract?
No.
So that disqualified.
He left before the
That
contract was
disqualified.
over.
That disqualified.
No,
They said Jim Brown.
Disqualified. Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
So
Earl
let,
Campbell and Barry
Barry.
Sanders. I said Sweetness.
so let me give you my rundown and see if anybody agree or disagree. You got yours?
No.
Oh, okay.
Name somebody in my tribe. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So my 25 was John Riggins.
I don't even know who they
That's
are.
number 25.
Number 25 was
Oh,
John
at the
Riggins.
bottom of the list.
Yeah, number 25 was John Riggins. Yeah.
My mom said something about Mercury somebody.
Mercury Morris. Oh
Yeah.
no, that's
What's that?
no, that's Miami back in
old.
the 70s.
Yeah,
It's old
yeah.
school.
Like,
They
who is that?
didn't wear helmets then.
So I
She
got
said when she first started watching football, that's who she
70s
saw.
Mercury Morris.
That's all.
So I got Warwick Dunn at 24. I have Eddie George at 23.
Eddie George, okay.
Otis Anderson at 22. Frank Gore at 21. Jerome Bettis at 20. Curtis Martin at 19. LaShawn McCoy at 18.
You got the bus down there for?
Yeah. But look who's before him. Look who's before him now. Look who's after him.
Okay, go ahead.
LaShawn.
Look, LaShawn McCoy. Terrell Davis at 17.
Maybe.
Edrin James 16.
Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen at 15.
Yes, I'm sorry.
LaDainian Tomlinson at 14.
Mm-hmm.
Gail Sayers at 13. Thurman Thomas at 12. Franco Harris at 11. Earl Campbell at 10.
You got him at 10?
Mm-hmm. Listen, Marshall Falk at 9.
Mm-hmm.
O.J.
Oh,
Simpson
somebody
at
said
8.
OJ too.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Dorsett at 7.
Oh
you really
yeah,
messed
oh
up.
yeah.
Eric Dixon at 6.
Well, he's going by stats.
Adrian Peterson at 5. No, I'm not really going by stats. Emmett Smith at 4. Barry Sanders at 3. Walter Payton at 2. And Jim Brown.
Yes, Walter Payton. That's sweetness.
I wasn't going by stats. Some of some stats, but others were that wow effect. Like John Riggins. I hated to see him get the ball. I hated it because I knew he was going to run over. He was going to run over somebody.
Well, we know I can't get Emmett to be on the show since you got him that far down.
Right. Emmett ain't coming.
And I put Emmett there. I put Emmett at 4.
Jesse.
He would have been higher up, but I put him at 4 because number one, he was running behind one of the greatest lines ever built.
But why did
Jesse
you put him
said
that
Marshall
far down?
Falk needs to be higher.
Because he still
And all of these are
has
past.
18,000 yards, and you can't stop. There's nothing to do about that, and he's still stable. He's only missed one game in his career,
And all of these are past running backs, right?
except
Not present.
LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
LaShawn McCoy and Adrian Peterson are the only active running backs. And Adrian Peterson
And
would probably.
you didn't put our boy in the lineup?
Who's that? Ezekiel Elliott? Too early.
No.
Not these,
Who?
the wide
Who?
receiver.
Ezekiel Elliott?
Yeah.
It's too early.
Oh man, he ain't
It's
been
too
in
early.
the
It's too early.
league long enough to be
Too
he
early.
ain't wowed nobody that much yet.
It's too early. It's too
And
early.
I love my Cowboys, but he ain't
It's
giving me
too
no
early.
wow
Yeah.
yet.
I mean, but Dallas got 2
It
running
ain't too
backs.
early.
Dorset
Yes, it
and
Not too early.
Dorset
He
and
in the
Emmett.
top 25.
And Dorset is the only running back to rush for
Yeah, he got
99.9
one.
yards in one run.
You
Okay,
got
audience
some
comment. Jesse Lindsay says that Falk needs to be higher, better than 9.
I got Marshall Falk at 9, but
Jesse, type in your top 3.
is Marshall Falk better than O.J. Simpson? No, just because he slashed the girl up don't mean.
Oh,
Come on, man.
That's cold.
I mean, really?
just
He
slicing and dicing
Was
don't mean you couldn't
found
run.
not
Right.
guilty.
Come on, man.
He was found not guilty.
By jury of his peers.
Yes, so
Was it
leave
his
that
peers
alone.
or well, they were his peers?
It
Wasn't
was
they?
peers that was mad about
I'm
that
not
other
gonna go
verdict.
Well,
Peers that
Right,
paid.
yeah.
well,
They beat Rodney and
I got-
them officers got off, so now we
I got
ours.
Dorset. I got Dorset number 7 because Dorset at the time when he came into the league, he was a small back. He was considered a small back.
I said
5'9",
about Emmett.
190. No, Emmett was like 203, 204. Dorset was 5'9", 190, and at the time, it was mostly a fullback team.
And he was all speed.
And Dorset was speed and quickness,
Yeah, that's it.
and he can hit that hole, and he's gone. He's gone. And Eric Dixon is hands down.
Yeah,
Eric Dixon hands down.
I don't like it.
You know, only reason why he, yeah, I know, because he.
We met him in person.
And
No, you like him, you just didn't like what he was
His
saying.
comments
About
were
what?
less savory about men and relationships with women.
Oh my gosh, please.
You remember?
What did he say?
This look,
I
we're not
seen
gonna
the
venture
video.
off into that.
Yeah,
Right.
I can see the video because they won't let me talk about
Wait,
it.
what is your list? I'm trying to get over.
Man,
What is your list?
All I told him
I
was
want to make sure everybody got their list out the way.
Oh, because yours is just super stout.
No.
You know.
I put myself last.
All right.
So
Jesse says that Marshall Falk was the best dual threat running back in history.
Thurman Thomas might have something to say about that.
Okay, well, just
I'm just saying.
I'm just a messenger.
I feel you. Thurman Thomas might have something to say about that, though. What do you have, AD?
I don't have the list. You didn't let me know in time for me to put it.
Okay, give me your top 5.
Okay.
I sent it to you this morning.
Give me your top 5.
Child, please.
You
Boy,
need to
y'all-
read.
I'm glad
Reading
both of
is
y'all.
fundamental.
I'm glad both of y'all in between them two.
Really?
Because it'd
Reading
be a
is
fight broken out.
fundamental.
No.
RIF.
Well, I know it's fun. You learn how to spell.
Okay, Lewis.
This morning I didn't have my breath.
But you do need to send me your email.
Give us your list.
You would have got it even earlier.
It'll be bothered.
all right, 25 Tiki Barber, 24 John Riggins,
Okay.
23 Curtis Martin.
Ooh.
I went 22 Jim Taylor,
Okay.
21 Priest Holmes,
Ooh.
20 will be Larry Zonka, 19 Edwin James, 18 Jerome Bettis, 17, Franco Harris. 16, the Seahawks, Sean Alexander. 15, Tony Dorsett.
Ooh.
14, Thurman Thomas. 13, Marcus Allen. 12, Terrell Davis. 11, Gale Sayers. Number 10, Emmitt Smith. Number 9, LaDainian Tomlinson. 8 will be Earl Campbell. 7 will be Marshall Faulk. 6, O.J. Simpson. 5, Eric Dickerson. 4, Walter Payton. 3, Adrian Peterson. 2, Jim Brown. And 1, Barry Sanders.
What?
Okay.
You got Adrian Peterson before Walter Payton?
Yes.
Okay.
No, sir.
All of
No,
y'all-
sir.
all of
Okay.
y'all-
No, sir.
All of y'all.
No,
messed
sir.
up.
That list right there was like.
This is my list.
Okay, so
So
the
that's
audience comment is, where did y'all put Bo Jackson?
Bo Jackson.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but he didn't have a full career.
Oh man, come on.
Oh,
played
no.
5 seasons.
Number one, no, but you played 5 half seasons. You played half the. You came in at the
Barry
game
Sanders
7.
Bo knows.
No, Bo knows
Oh,
he
he
could. He
knows.
should be listed in this top 25.
All I know is,
Man, y'all
ain't
gonna
no
make
way.
me go
I
home.
love Adrian Peterson, but ain't no way Adrian Peterson is before Walter Payton.
Show it. No,
No,
ain't no
This-
way.
No way. And no way he's that far up the list.
And you put first of all, let me give you some stats on Jim Brown. And I was trying not to put Jim Brown as number one because I'm like everybody's putting Jim Brown as number one. But let me tell you why he's number one. He only played 9 seasons.
Who?
Jim Brown only played 9 seasons. Half of those seasons, 4 of those seasons were only 12 games there were 12 games in the season. Then he went to 14 games in the season, and he still rushed for 12,312 yards. Not only that, he had 104 yards per game, 5.2 yards per average.
And where you got your list?
Most of it.
I'm looking at this list. I'm like, boy, this is not it.
Yeah.
Most of it.
5.2
I
yards
went
per carry.
5 different lists plus a video. It was tough.
Yeah.
See, and Dorsett was that one there. They got him 21. No way possible.
No way.
No, he got to be higher than that.
He was 15 on my list.
Yeah, he got to be way higher than that.
Yeah. You don't. I don't think you not.
None of y'all said this guy, Larry.
I did say
Zarga.
Larry
You did say him?
Yeah. He was bottom half of my list.
And he shouldn't even been on the list.
Why not?
Because Larry, I mean, with all the running backs we have, with Larry Zonka being on the list.
What
Here's
was
his stats: 8,081 rushing yards.
Yeah, but
rushing touchdowns.
the people I have on my list have at least
5-time Pro Bowl.
They got at least 10,000 yards, except 2, which is Gale Sayers and Terrell Davis.
Mhm.
And the reason why I have Gale Sayers and Terrell Davis on the list is because Gale Sayers, had he not gotten hurt, he could have outrushed.
And then Terrell
Jim
Davis, I was fighting
The same with
between
Terrell
him
Davis.
and Bo Jackson because Terrell Davis didn't even last
He had 7 years.
7 years and Bo was 5.
Bo was 5, yeah.
Yeah,
But Bo only played half the season.
in all 5.
In all 5, he only played half the season.
Really?
Yeah, because he left. He left
Bo
Kansas City.
had the wild
No,
factor.
he left Kansas City, and he left the Kansas City Royals, and then came to play
Oh,
for.
that's right.
Yeah.
He was a two-sport athlete.
Mm-hmm. And baseball is not that taxing, so when he got into football, everybody else had already played at least 6 or 7 games.
He's one of the greatest. I just can't.
Why
yeah.
Barry? He didn't finish.
Because Barry only played 10 seasons, and in those 10 seasons, he gained 15,000 yards.
Okay.
And you talking about the most dynamic, exciting running back to watch? Barry Sanders was it. I mean, Barry Sanders would do stuff
I
that
would put him up there with OJ. Because OJ was definitely exciting.
OJ was it.
OJ is good.
Yeah,
Back
OJ was
then,
it.
he was awesome.
Because I'm going to tell you
Especially
like this. When I was in school, in elementary, you know how you used to write the number on the side of your
32 all day long, huh?
No, we had Converse.
Converse.
Yeah.
Chuck Taylor's.
And then when Dorsett came along, we changed from 32 to 33.
Uh-huh.
So, because Dorsett was exciting to watch.
Yeah, he
I mean,
was.
just that burst of speed. I still remember one game, particularly, y'all might be too young. It was a Monday night football. Cowboys against Minnesota.
I remember 99 yards.
And 99 and a half.
And a half yards, yeah.
Remember that half.
With only 10 players on the field.
Yeah.
With only 10. And the play wasn't supposed to go to him. It was supposed to go to Ron Springs.
Yeah.
But Ron Springs wasn't in there. He actually walked off the field.
Right.
So that was supposed to go to Ron Springs. Dorsey hit that hole. Tom Rafferty hit that block, and it was over after that.
After that, you know.
Yeah, and you can't never get no better than that.
But y'all don't want to give my boys credit.
Who that?
The Three Stooges in there.
Who you talking about, Bo Jackson?
No, Bo, and y'all got Emmett too far down.
I got
Emmett at 10.
I got Emmett too
I
far
would
down.
put Emmett in the top 10, but I wouldn't put him way up there.
I got him.
I'm just still trying to get over Adrian Peterson being for Walter
Well,
Payton.
put it like this, and it's a toss-up. If I was to get with the top 5, Bo Jackson,
Right.
Emmett,
3 and
Sweetness, Sanders, and Dorsett. Those would be my top 5.
Say it again.
Reason why I'm gonna tell you some of the things that I look at. Okay, so Dorsett he was put into a championship team already.
As a rookie.
As a rookie, he was put into a championship team, and they won a Super Bowl.
Right.
You know, so I mean, they already had everything around. Same with Emmett, a championship team was built around that. Front line is off the chain. You look at a Walter Payton. Walter Payton was around sorriness almost his whole career until '85.
And so was AP.
And so was Adrian Peterson, same thing. Even Earl Campbell was the same way.
See, I was struggling with AP and
Well,
Payton, but I think the only difference was how many times AP performed the way he did, got injured, came back up and performed the way he was before he got injured, gets injured again,
And gets
comes
better.
back up, and he got better.
Get better, yeah.
Off the injury.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And that's what I look at.
he has to get brownie points for that.
Yeah, I look at that. I also look at Barry Sanders.
He was just number one.
Barry Sanders was surrounded by sorrows for a long time, and because of Barry Sanders, they went to the playoffs several times. Because of I remember the year when Walter Payton, 1978, Walter Payton rushed for 1,800 yards. And we don't know who the coach was, who the quarterback was. It was Allen somebody or another. We don't even remember you don't even know who the receivers were.
Well,
You know, and you rushed for 1,800 yards in 78.
well, did OJ have?
OJ didn't have, all he had is electric company, which is that front line. No, they called him the electric company.
I know that.
Yeah.
I was watching football.
Okay. Which is that front line.
We would not be written called if it wasn't for OJ.
So we'll
Right.
be not here now, but if it wasn't for OJ. So, I remember several times I tried to jump over the bench.
Well, he put runner calls on the map.
Yeah, he running through the airport.
Right, yeah.
Brother, run through the airport now.
Yeah, right, you
The kid
get it took out.
Right?
You have to give him credit for that. He did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
Rent a car, and then who remember what show?
Remember the glove didn't fit.
Towering Inferno.
Okay.
Towering Inferno. OJ was in that.
Never heard of it.
You remember
He
Towering
was in
Inferno?
the Naked Gun.
Huh?
No.
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun,
movie.
yeah.
He was the
One of the best of OJ was with the lady that played Bewitched. They did a movie together. What was her name?
I saw
Yeah,
that.
Elizabeth Montgomery. Yeah, it was
What movie was that?
All I know is they did a lot of kissing.
Oh my goodness.
OJ and
Yeah, so he just did start.
yeah, he
Recently.
knew exactly what he was
Yeah,
doing.
big time. Hey, every time I had to throw the fist up.
Yeah. Plus, he was actually a good announcer too.
Yeah,
He was a real good announcer.
but you know,
But and it always looked like he was
Why
still
is
trying.
it such a trophy for a black man to kiss a white
Well, that's
woman?
what I mean.
What's the deal with that? Why you
I
gotta
didn't
put
say
your
it was
fist up?
a trophy.
No, you talking
He
about
said black
don't have
power.
nothing to do
Black
with it. What is that? Why? Because you didn't enslave the white woman? What's up with that? What is that?
Don't step to me like that.
I'm just asking.
It ain't about no
You put
trophy.
it out there.
It ain't about no trophy. It was just a brother. He made that mark.
But I'm saying,
You
what
know.
is making the marks? Because you kissed the white woman?
I'm talking about
Really?
being in the movie, making those kind of movies because it wasn't heard of at that time.
And?
Listen,
Look, we have the same question. We on the same.
I'm trying to
This
say
one
just
was me.
What's the next point? Move on.
No, you brought it up.
You know, because real interesting, someone who covers the Mavs for me went to a banquet, and the only Mav in there with a black woman
Was Dirk. Ain't that a mess?
So is he black
Ain't that a
power?
mess?
Well,
Dirk knew exactly what he was doing.
I have a sister. I
Yeah,
have a sister. My wife is a sister.
Don't be trying to change the subject. You put your fist up because OJ kissed a white woman.
But hey, come to find out.
Tiger got hit by one.
Well,
He deserved that.
But see, the wrong sister will cut up your stuff,
Sure will.
break your stuff,
Sure will.
throw it out,
Sure
bleach
will.
your stuff, and
He ain't
set
gonna
it
make it
on
home
fire.
Sure will.
tonight. What's your wife's name? I'm gonna have to make an announcement.
Shoot,
Oh,
wait.
she won't do that.
He won't be home tonight.
Y'all
You remember when
wait
Barney
until-
on the
Jones
ID
was
channel.
on the radio talking a bunch of stuff?
Uh-huh.
Went on to Gina.
And it came home to Gina? Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey,
Where your wife at? Where she don't watch the show?
I'm not scared.
Okay. Well, we couch downstairs. You get that phone call.
I know one thing. You better not be throwing your fist up over here.
What
Like this is a white woman.
What
you say?
Come on.
Towering Inferno. I told you he played in Towering Inferno.
I knew that. I was trying to find this movie talking about when he kissed the white
Come
woman.
in.
He was pumping his fist too.
Come in, man. Come on.
No, I'm working the boards. That's all I'm doing is working the boards.
Come on.
I ain't going there with you. Professor, I ain't having. He ain't
He
got
ain't
no.
made no comment. He loved his first lady.
I
He
love
loved
mine
his
too.
first lady.
I
Yes, I
love
do.
mine. I was gonna say to death, but I won't get no idea.
You in trouble.
Oh,
Am I really?
well, they said till death do us part. You gonna get parted.
Oh my God.
You be quiet. So I see why.
Is it Goldie and the boxer go to Hollywood?
The
Name of the movie? There's a whole bunch of movies on here with him and white women.
Cocaine and Blue Eyes.
Oh my God.
The Klansman.
Okay, dang.
The what?
He was in a movie called The Klansman. Hambone and Hilly.
Dang.
He must got a lot of money for that.
Was he in Mandingo?
That's why he quit
No,
football.
of course
No,
not.
that was
No, that was-
Shaft.
Shaq. Was it Mandigo?
That's Richard Roundtree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was a white woman.
Ooh,
Wait.
was it by choice or was
Yeah,
it
everybody chose. They was on the beach. I remember that one.
in Mandingo?
I don't know if it was Mandingo.
No. He's saying period.
It was a movie.
I'm gonna watch Shaka Zulu.
Yeah.
How's that? I'm gonna watch that movie.
I'm watching
What-
Roots.
Where I can
What
see
does that
some
mean?
black men with black women.
I'm watching Roots.
OJ did a late night movie called Late Night Wandering.
Uh-oh.
See that?
Late Night Wanderer.
So the movie was
I-
called A Killing Affair in 1977. The
Mm.
O.J. Simpson and Elizabeth.
Oh, so he was
Montgomery.
prime for what he did in
That's what I'm
1994,
talking
huh?
about.
He already practiced the role.
But Richard Roundtree was a little bit before him, though.
So the movie is a policewoman who is Elizabeth Montgomery
Mhm.
and her partner O.J. Simpson
Yeah.
have a biracial affair while working on a homicide.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Then he went Nicole Brown on her.
But
And don't get me wrong.
Remember, the gloves don't fit.
Don't get me wrong. There is nothing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with biracial relations. I'm just asking why you pumping up your fist as if that's a
No, I wasn't looking at
A badge
that.
of honor.
celebration and a badge of honor.
No,
Like,
I was looking at the fact that
Celebratory pump.
come on,
Yeah, I was
pedal
looking at the
back.
fact that he
Back
made
pedal.
that mark
Back
on
pedal.
friend. I ain't backing
Oh,
up.
Back
yeah,
pedal.
when we really didn't need that, Mark, because we're still, how many decades later, trying to see
Get black
wonderful black love without, and I don't judge how what
Downgrading
you
black
do,
women.
Well,
but
you
a
see,
relationship that is
well,
healthy and we were worried for a minute about Blackish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at all the relationships, and for the
They're
life of me,
beautiful.
Olivia Pope could not get a black man and have a healthy relationship.
Yes.
well,
Yes.
when it comes to me personally,
Yes.
I love my queen.
You trying to get
Then
on?
why
no,
was
I
it a
love
badge
that.
of honor to kiss a white woman? Why pump your fist like that? I'm gonna make that a he said, she said question.
Well, let me say
Why
Walter
that.
Payton
do black
is
women
Okay,
feel
okay,
like it's a
okay.
badge of honor
Now,
to
Yeah,
have
see,
really-
Walter
it's
Payton
really
is
not.
number.
It's really not.
Walter Payton is number 2 on my
Okay.
list.
Don't be pointing your
I ain't
finger at me.
hating.
Don't be pointing your
That's
finger.
not a thing.
And Barry Sanders is number 3 on my list.
But okay, now
Walter Payton was number 2 on my list.
You really asking me the wrong question because I can't answer the question.
Emmitt Smith is
But
on the
you
floor on
want
my
Walter
list.
But it wasn't about him and the woman or the other.
He was saying Wakanda forever.
Backpedaling.
No.
He was saying Wakanda forever.
Most what?
Audience,
Brothers that
he's
got money,
backpedaling.
they have
You
money.
see that?
For some reason, they go out and get the other race
To be like their boss. But
We-
you know,
we got audience
most
comments that say,
brothers
"Bro,
with
leave
that
it alone."
money, they went to HBCUs.
Yeah.
Those that went to HBCUs, or they had that strong influence of their moms, like from my tribe, Emmett.
Your tribe.
You know, they
She keep throwing
they
her
stayed
tribe.
home.
You know what? But that, as you mentioned, the HBCU. One of the top running backs that are on my list.
He's trying to get back to the. Okay, we're gonna get back to your list.
Walter Payton
Let me
went to
get
an
back to your
HBCU, and I look at some of the top players in the NFL, some within their position. Jerry Rice went to a HBCU.
Yeah.
You know, Ashley Ambrose went to HBCU. We got. And we always put down HBCUs, but they come out with top athletes.
Bob
They do.
Hayes.
Bob Hayes, HBCU.
Well,
Yeah. Emerson Walls went to HBCU.
A boy came out of Grambling.
Emerson Walls.
Not just Everett. The
Doug
other
Williams.
quarterback. Yeah, Doug Williams.
Doug Williams, HBCU. Yeah. They come out a
Somebody
lot.
came out of Prairie View.
Charlie Choo Brackens came out of Prairie View.
Yeah.
Strahan came out of Texas Southern.
Yeah, so we put a lot of, HBCUs put a lot of athletes out there, but then the quality of talent, you know, when they can't, Grambling can't go and play at Penn State because they get killed. They can't, when they went to go play TCU, they got killed.
Well,
But on any given Sunday,
Thank you.
on any given Sunday, just like I would tell my students, that's why I love Iverson so much, because on any given game, he would take a big man's heart.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, for that matter, when you look at pitting them against one another, you know, it was a big upset, but Florida A&M did beat University of Miami.
Yeah, they did. I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when
She
it
had said that she
happens,
went to Florida.
yes, when it does happen, but just think about the quality and the talent, and Stuart is sitting over there, he went to Florida State, and so, you know, I'll just give a shout out to Dion, because I said when he wanted love, he went across town to Florida A&M when he was there. But it says something about what we have presented to us and what the young men have presented to them, because this was like, I'm going to say, when Troy, and there was another brother that went to school with him who died, Frank, I think his name.
Oh, Frank Cornish.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And they came to town for the Cotton Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a call at the Dallas Weekly saying, could I get some young ladies to come and act as hostesses? And so I went along to be a chaperone to the young ladies who I brought. But if it were not for the ones that I brought on that bus, they were all white.
Yeah.
And so that's who's put in their face
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
And the thing about it, what we have to do as a community is when they come to town, we have to embrace it. We have to go and do the ask. We have to
be the host, so to speak.
combat what's going on, because there's someone, and we were at the Carter High showing, and talking to a young brother, and he was saying that he had been told, you know, to stay out of South Dallas and everything. And I said, come on, brother, you from Compton.
Right.
Okay.
We can stay out of Compton, let alone stay out of South Dallas.
But this is what white folks are telling them about trying to keep them away from their own people. And then we tend to think, oh, they're too busy. No, ask them anyway. Go, say, hey, come on, yes, we want you to come.
We had another comment, Steve McNair.
Yeah,
He's a quarterback.
Yeah, Steve McNair, yeah.
Well,
He went to Alcorn State.
You better get that right.
Yeah, no.
Alcorn.
Alcorn, not Alcorn, not Alcorn.
But if you go back
Like
and look
almonds and almonds.
our athlete can go to Ivy School.
Ivy League.
Yeah, it's a league, all right.
Ivy
But-
League.
Ivy.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
Ivory is
but
right.
Before, well, let me just speak from, because I was born and raised in Dallas. when my dad was at Madison, and then some of my family was at Lincoln. Well, when they would go play those other schools that wasn't of us, they would kill them.
Yeah.
They
They
could
would kill
stand
them.
that.
And they couldn't stand it, and they made sure that they would get referees that would go to call their way. Because
We had that problem this year with my son playing in the championship game. We went to one game and we was like, ref, let them play, man. They was calling some bogus calls.
Well, who that? Carrollton, the Dragons,
South Carroll.
They and I don't want
They
that story
notorious for it.
I don't want that story to die.
Yeah.
Because that coach stood on the sideline and used the N word against the Soto players.
Ain't that a mess?
Well, I think they got rid of him.
Well, that's not the point.
Well, I mean, what are you? I mean,
The point is he wasn't the only one there.
yeah, but the thing is this right here. Once you put disciplinary actions on them, what else do you want to have happen?
I really want.
What's the end game?
I really want clean conduct. If you got a piece of crumb in a house, where's the slice of bread?
So you thinking there's more than just that?
Oh yeah.
But see,
Yeah.
here's the deal. How do you investigate that? How do you go through and look for that when no one says nothing?
Well,
Once disciplinary action is there, what else do you want?
Well, and the people are speaking out because I got called by a man whose son is a Jesuit.
Jesuit, yeah.
And they talked about the problems, and not just in his school, at other schools, where our children are suffering because they are being picked at. I've never tolerated the cultural jokes, if you will.
Right.
But we're putting our children in places, and we aren't giving them the balance that they need to be successful, and they are really suffering at those.
My parents did very well keeping us in diverse schools when we were coming up. I started at Uncle Lee Elementary School. I went on to Daniel Webster, went to T.W. Brown, and Kimball High School. Well, when I got to Kimball,
I understand his age because Kimball wasn't black.
When I got to Kimball in 1980, it was half and half, pretty much. But still, it was leaning more towards the Caucasian. But they, if you didn't know how to recognize what they were doing undercurrent, or what they were saying to you undercurrent, you didn't know that they were actually treating you that way. And let me share it with you. And then try to put somebody out. But we had one of the top running backs in the state of Texas. And when he got through playing his last game for Kimball, those coaches act like they didn't know him. I'm talking about he was one of the best in the state of Texas at that time. And when you play your last game, the major last hoop for them. And at that time, we had Coach Graham, who was the African American coach for Kimball basketball coach. So our players didn't get treated like that. But at the same time, Hitchcock, who was the AD, would not really fund the basketball team like he was doing the football team.
Yeah. Let's do this right here. We can continue the subject on the other side, but we do have to go to break, and we do have to go to the entertainment hour. This is the hour that everybody waits for. They don't really look for sports and nothing like that. They just wait for the entertainment hour. we filibusters around here.
Okay.
So we'll go to break, and when we come back, we'll get into our entertainment hour with security. She says she don't have anything to talk about, so it's going to be a long hour.
I have Celebrity Bowl-a-thon to talk about with Cheryl.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, see.
Just Cheryl?
Yes.
What
Yeah, that's Cheryl. She's Cheryl.
I know that, but
Yeah, she just
just Cheryl though.
She'll be turning another age tomorrow.
None of us, just Cheryl.
Yeah, we ain't got nothing to do with this. We just gonna be.
No hush.
Can you bowl?
I'm gonna give me some chicken.
All right, we'll be right back
Wing,
with
you know
411
I like
Sports Talk
wings.
Radio on
Don't say-
4radionetwork.com. We will be right back.
Let's roll.
Kimball.
No, why not?
All right. We're back.
Somebody.
I told you, come back real quick.
Oh.
All right, we still talking about Carter and Kimball and Duncanville and Wilma Hutchins and DeSoto and
Oh, Kimball, man.
mentioned. Lincoln, Booker T. Washington.
Can't hear you.
W.T. White.
W.T. White, I'm sorry. Spruce, Skyline,
Well,
Sock.
W.T. White when I was in school.
what, Sock, School of Crime.
Yes.
Of champs, of course.
All right, this is 411
They
Sports
might
Talk
have
Radio, fourumradionetwork.com. We're back. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
You
well, the
hear me?
speakers are not on,
I can hear you. Well, we're back though.
We
but
back.
the thing can't hear you.
What can't hear me?
Never mind. The Facebook Live.
That shit.
All right, is that better?
No.
It's not that. It's something you switched
Oh,
off.
that's what it is.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Now y'all
Is
can hear
that purposeful for your segment?
What's that?
The
me. Is that everybody hears you?
difficulties.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so. I think he does that on purpose. Yeah. That's okay.
I treat
I
us
got
right.
something for him after the show.
You gonna be speaking in tongues?
No.
Oh, look, after I finish, I'm saying what I'm talking about too.
So through.
You gonna take it to a
Okay,
race?
now they can hear you. See, I'm looking at the audience and I'm making sure the audience is taken care of.
After I finish, what I'm saying what I'm talking about too.
Bitch woman, don't let me have to take you to a emergency to get your tongue.
ID Cheryl. That's what he's gonna be saying. Help! ID Cheryl.
Yeah.
911. Come
you do holler
get me.
help.
I'm tired and I can't get up.
Anyway,
All right.
You do holler help.
so welcome to the entertainment segment,
You gotta look on my
audience.
Yes, I got you.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the entertainment segment. We're here with Ms. Cheryl Smith. Hi. And we're talking about the celebrity bowl-a-thon. It's not just a bowl-a-thon, so it's not just sports. It's entertainment included because they're celebrities.
But that's the entertainment hour.
Exactly.
See?
So I'll be trying to
And
take my
sports is
segment.
entertainment.
Sports, yeah, sports is entertaining.
I appreciate you for inviting Cheryl to be on my segment.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna look
So
over.
take it away, Cheryl. Tell us about the bowl-a-thon, how it came about. Tell us about everything that you do, because you do a lot.
Ooh.
Yes.
She got
Come
about
on
12
with it.
She got about 12 papers.
I know.
Well, you know, and I need a really good
Look here.
production person, so.
Get her.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're a really good production person.
Okay.
Don't let him fool
You
you.
should have seen me at 3 this morning.
Ooh, I can imagine.
And I thought about you. I shouldn't be thinking about it.
Don't
You're
be
a
thinking
man
about my
at
husband at 3 in the morning.
I was thinking, I was like, you said you were doing this.
Wait. Do your husband know? Hold
I
up.
said, look, me and you need to talk.
Yeah.
She need to be doing something else at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute.
And I said, I thought about both of you because I said, you could be sitting with him while he's laying out the paper instead of.
I ain't gonna be sitting with him at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
doing
it was
nothing
fun.
but
Do I need
something
the
else.
blues?
But I knew I had to be here.
Uh-huh.
And we
Thank
are
you.
coming up on, this is the 24th Celebrity Bowl.
Wow.
Wow.
And I was on KKDA. And when people see you out, the more people you see, the more people ask you for things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
so,
the hookup, freebies,
yes,
all that
and,
stuff.
and so I wanted to help, but I would get a lot of calls asking about scholarships. And so I said, okay, I need to do something, bring my friends together
Mm-hmm.
so that we can raise some money so we can help some of these people who need, scholarship dollars.
Mhm.
And so I thought about, I'm from the East Coast, and there were 3 things that we did.
What does that mean?
There were 3 things that we did. I don't know what you all did in Dallas, but when I came here, I found that a lot of people in Dallas, they were really segregated. They didn't move out of
Oh, you didn't
their
know?
neighborhoods.
You didn't know?
You couldn't?
No, that's not
You
it.
could.
Some of them still haven't found out they free.
Well, you know today is Juneteenth,
This is
and they still don't know.
They have not found out They
They free.
free by the blood of Jesus.
Well, see, you
It's
just
free,
tell me.
period.
That's why he preaching.
Duh. I've been doing it for 37 years.
Happy
Alright.
Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth.
Yeah.
What happened about it?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Well, you know, and then I'll
Happy-
get back to the bone.
happy Shaka
I
Khan.
did it when I came here, and I said, Juneteenth, why are you celebrating? Well, what other time do we commemorate our freedom?
Yeah, that's true.
So
When
I
I
think
got
that we
baptized.
should. And we should continue to educate folks, and maybe for those who don't realize that they are free. But I thought about there were 3 things that we do on the East Coast, and especially around holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, when the families together. There's one day we would go skating.
You get together with your family on holiday?
Yes, we did. Yes.
I don't want to see.
I'm going to mute.
Right.
And we go skating. We would go bowling.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually we would go to the movies. Those were the things we did together. And so I said I wanted something that, because you know how the weather is in Texas.
Oh my goodness.
So I said I did not want the weather to be a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted something that the whole family could do,
Mm-hmm.
and all ages
Mm-hmm.
almost can do it. So I said, well, we'll do bowling. And so I visited visited friends in Miami, went to bowlathons, went to some here, and then I started putting together mine, and I just wanted it to be fun. And it says celebrity because it is not, even though there was a Dick Gregory or a Chuck D or a number of people have come who you consider to be celebrities. I said everyone was a celebrity
Mm-hmm.
because
I like
anytime you are doing something for me to help your people, you are a celebrity.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
And so that's what we were trying to do. So, and I also wanted to put together an event that was so good that, then if I brought in someone, if I brought in Vanessa Bell Calloway or Kiki Shepard or someone like that, they were icing on the cake.
Right.
Because I call it the Johnny Cochran syndrome, where if you remember when everything was going on, you talked about sports and OJ.
If the glove don't fit,
Yeah.
you must have quit.
And after that, guess what? You had little, and I won't say Rudy Poop, but I'll say organizations you never heard of
Mm-hmm.
were having banquets, and they were having Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
And they were selling 1,000 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the next year, they were back down to their 100,
Mm-hmm.
or their 75.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter, people come to the Don't Believe the Hype Celebrity Bowl-a-thon regardless of who is going to be there.
Yeah, because
Right.
sometimes you don't even go back to see Dick Gregory because
Yes.
you sitting over there trying to get your bowl on.
Right, and it's just an event where I tried to get us away from tribalism, and the tribalism is that I work to a radio station, but you can't do this with this radio station with this person because they work for that radio station. And I said, no, we can't do that. Even though I worked for a newspaper, I had all the other newspapers coming in, and it's just bringing us together, trying to raise money. And the first year, and I said, okay, I want to come up with a name for it, and Don't Believe the Hype was my theme song on the KK.
Yeah, I thought you got it from Chuck D.
Well, I did
Okay.
call him, and I said, hey, I want to use this for the bowl-a-thon. And of course, he thanks me. The brother is strong, but he is so humble, and he thanked me for it. And that's something Mr. Gregory used to do, because I introduced Mr. Gregory to a whole different generation
Yes.
by him coming and folks getting to talk to him. And so I took Don't Believe the Hype in the first year. Chuck D and Malik Farrakhan from Public Enemy came, and Mr. Gregory. And I told them that year, I said, no pressure. I said, because sometimes we run out a good thing. I said, listen, you don't have to come every year. I'm not going to invite you to come every year. Just know, if you want to come, there's a
Open
ticket
door.
for you.
Yes.
And Mr. Gregory said, I'm coming every year. And I said, okay. And I think out of the 23, he came to, I'm going to say 19.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of.
And one of them, I was having a National Association of Black Journalists convention here, and it was like a week later, so instead of him coming for the Bowl-a-thon, I had him come for that because I was running for office and I wanted him there with me. And another time he was arrested for speaking out for the voiceless. And last year there was a scheduling conflict with him. So, and one time he was like really upset with me because I was late getting the invitation to his wife and getting it on his schedule because he would cancel events to come in here. And he even called, you know, the last time he was here was the week after the shooting. And he asked,
shooting in Dallas.
And you know, we had a discussion about it because he was wondering if it was not the right time for him to come. Now, interestingly, like a week after that, Public Enemy was scheduled to be here to perform.
Right.
And they actually canceled the show. And when you think about it and you think about the music of Public Enemy, it was probably a good one.
Right.
For them
Yo, most definitely at that time.
Yes.
Doing 911 as a joke ain't right now.
Right. Even though it is the truth, but
but you don't want to put that out there. Yeah.
Right. And we talked about it, and you know, the thing is, you know, in our community, we have to deal with tragedies like that every day. So we can't stop the movement, you know, because of that. You know, someone asked me, they're like, well, you're not taking off for Good Friday. I said, if I want a good Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I gotta work on Good Friday. You know, that's just the nature of it. But you know, I get people who want to come in, and it's amazing the people who have come through the doors, who want to participate and just have a good time helping us raise money for scholarships. We brought in to this area. I said I wanted to have a fun event, which is a bowl-a-thon, but I wanted to have something educational too. And so we brought in Emmett Till's mother.
Oh, wow.
And that was so phenomenal. We actually had a program at the Hall of State, and then she also spoke at St. Luke. And we brought in Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, you know, and he's, you know, a scholar. He's no longer with us, but he tried to educate us, to enlighten us. And, you know, so we try to have that balance. And so we give scholarships. I give a scholarship in the name of Dr. Betty Shabazz, and it's called the Educational Excellence because she was big on education. And that's given through Senator Royce West has the internship program, which is really amazing to me because the program, his internship program is 25 years old. And you still have people who say they don't know about it. And then you get up here, this is June, and in July, folks, parents, you know, are going to be looking for money for their kids. And I know we wrote about it. I know it's been in a number of publications. And so you have students who come, you know, you have to be like finish your first year of college.
Right.
And they apply, and Senator West's program is so wonderful. I wish it had been around when I was around, because when I was that age, because the students not only get jobs, but they have to do community service.
That's good.
They have icebreakers where they get to meet CEOs, and like one year Dion and Tracy Edmonds hosted. It. You know, we've been to Sam Putney's house. We've been to different places, and it's multicultural. So you know, he's trying to make them be responsive and responsible. And the interesting thing for me, and I tell the students, I said, you should make sure you don't leave this program without the senator knowing who you are.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I said you shouldn't have to come back to him years later and say, you know, I was in your program. No, he should know who you are because you're taking advantage of this opportunity. So, you know, we give scholarships here. We've given them to the journalism students. I've taken 1 year. I partnered with the Dallas Examiner. We took like 30 students to a journalist convention in Seattle.
Nice.
And so, you know, we're just trying to make a difference, trying to have an impact. And this year was really tough, and I thank people like Hiawatha Williams of Williams Chicken and Roland Parrish of McDonald's, Leo Evans of Evan Engraving, Gary Hasty of the Heroes House for the Veterans, because it's folks like those, and then even talking to Mr. Dick Gregory's family, members because when he passed, you know how you think some people will live forever?
Yeah, he looked like
was one of those.
Yes, he was one of, and there was something that I will tell you, a few years ago, I went to pick him up. It was amazing because I'm considerably younger than Mr. Gregory, but he would come and do the show on KKDA the day after. But sometimes he wouldn't want to leave the bowling alley, and it's like getting to be like 1 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning, you got to get home, don't you?
So then I said, well, you know, I think, you know, why don't we just sleep in? He said, no, I'll be ready, you know. And so this one particular time, I guess I got the room wrong, and I went knocking on the door, and no one answered. And I kept knocking and knocking, and no one answered. I kept calling, couldn't get him, and I really did not want to call his wife and alarm her. And I said, please don't let me lose Mr. Dick Gregory in this town. I ended up having the wrong room, but I was so grateful that I found him. And then there were times when if I had him a hotel room downtown or something, he'd take off walking. He'd go for walks at 5 or 6 in the morning. This man, and he told me, he said, faith and fear cannot exist in the same space.
Right.
And so he'd just get out and walk, do his walking and you know, and speaking to people, and you know, just he didn't travel with an entourage. He never said, you know, I need to bring someone with me. And I know, and we try to tag team him, and that's how we were able to get him to get a cell phone, because he was not going to get a cell phone. You know, I think the industry helped us because payphones started disappearing.
Right. So he couldn't get on the payphone.
Right, and we needed to reach him. Yes. Right, and so we finally got him to get a cell phone, and getting an answer was a different story. And he would never put it to his ear, and he contended that I'm trying to think of the black millionaire. Beatrice Foods, I can't think of his name right now, but anyway, he brain cancer.
Oh, he's saying the cell phone game.
Right, and I've heard that about people like right here, Paula McClure, who came to the bowl-a-thon. You know, she said that, you know, she used her cell phone so much that she said that her car note, she had a Mercedes, and her car note was cheaper than her cell phone bill, because that was at a time when, you know, you paid for those minutes.
Yeah.
Right, and if you notice your ear, you can see if you have the phone to your ear, it gets black, that black mark on it. And you have to be really careful.
I put mine on the speaker.
You have to be really careful about it. But we finally got him to get one. So we were working on, you know, at the time of, you know, of his passing, on trying to get him to let someone travel with him.
Yeah,
because, you know, he's fragile. And I laugh today as I think about one time I came into D.C. and he said, okay, I'll pick you up from the airport. So I'm thinking, you know, and this, I'm going to say this was within the last 5 years.
So he driving the car.
Yes, he was driving. He just was driving around, and we were in a cream-colored 300.
Oh my!
Yeah, and he's just driving around, and I'm just saying, should I be worried? You know, should I take the
You want me to drive?
You know? But I said faith and fear.
Faith and fear, don't leave
So
it.
I just said just go on with it. But I did think about the bowl-a-thon. He thought it was so important because he saw so many different people coming from all around, police chiefs, you know, just all elected officials, senators, U.S. Congress people, and you know, he really liked it. But when he passed suddenly, it was it just like the air.
He's like shocked, like
I just said this is really not happening, and he impacted so many people, and I thought about it. I said, do I really? How am I gonna go, and I'm gonna be waiting for him to come strolling through there,
and he ain't gonna stroll through,
and he's not going to. But the thing I am really grateful for, people started showing him a lot of love in his later years, and we saw even Bill Cosby on Arsenio, and he talked about how Dick Gregory made it better and easier for him, and opened the doors for him. More so,
a lot of doors.
Because he did, he
right? Did. And then he was on TV One, did a special.
Mm-hmm.
And a few months before he passed, CBS did something. And I just remember he didn't look for that. He wasn't going out saying, hey, here I am, recognize me.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? When he got it, he was really
He got it.
appreciative.
Right.
I do have a question to ask you. Okay, there was one year that you had gotten sick.
Yeah.
And we kept the bowl-a-thon going. And
Yes.
we used all of in your mind, did you think, okay, you know what, this thing can steady go. It can continue to go. It's got its legs now.
You know, and I have thought that, and I would love for it because there are so many people that need help.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to a young lady. We did FaceTime because her uncle lives up here, and he said he wanted me to talk to her. And I said I would give her an opportunity if she wanted to come by and learn. I said, but I'm not going to pay you to teach you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And she, as we were FaceTime, she had her mother and father behind her talking. And I am like that third parent, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say the things like, your parent may not say, I want you out of the house, but I'm gonna tell you, they want you out the house. You know, I'm going to tell you. And so the thing that young lady had was her mother and father behind her. There are so many who don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was teaching a class at Lincoln, and there was a young lady played tennis in the top 10% in her class, and she was doing a dual thing at El
Dual
Centro
credit.
and Lincoln, and she worked at Kroger, lived in sunny South Dallas, and she was saying, I don't think I'm going to be able to go to school. And I said, no, baby, you're going to school. We're going to help you go to school. There are so many who their parents can't, don't now know how, or
just
sadly don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so we have to step in and we have to help ours, because I'll never forget Dr. Naeem Akbar said, you know, we ride through our neighborhoods and we pass that group of brothers on the corner and we're like, tis, tis, tis. And he said, well, what are you going to do when your daughter bring one of them boys home?
Yeah.
Shoot.
And that's the thing, we have to think about that. So if we're not giving them a way out and a way up, how can we expect for them?
To get away.
They're going to become somebody's baby daddy.
You know, and listen to you say that, I do my best to educate our children.
So you're not afraid of them?
No.
But there are so many adults who are afraid.
Right.
I'm not saying nothing to so-and-so child.
Yeah, and I guess one reason why our family, we good fighters.
Yeah.
More than one way. More than two ways. More than three ways. So the point is, you cannot be afraid to educate.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I was born and raised in Dallas. I know the do's and do nots. And you got to know how to recognize that. I've listened to you and talked about West, Central West, know him very well. He know my family very well. And this program that he have, being at one, not the oldest, but middle-aged church here in the Metroplex, we never heard of it.
That is amazing. It's called the
Emmett
J. Conrad internship.
And my church is located about 1.5 miles from North Texas or Dallas.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he helped put that through.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful program.
And I have a young lady right now who just graduated, and I believe she's interested in journalism. And
so we're gonna get to know her. I love to take control and to help them to understand things, because you know what? We need that balance. We need to help ours. Have you ever seen someone on television and you say, gosh, who taught them? Somebody had to help them. Well, why is it we can't help ours?
Right. Exactly.
Why can't we pull them along? And I like to use, we have a journalism workshop, the Association of Black Journalists, and I had a 6th grader come to me, and I love to tell the story of Tamandre, because he came and he was going to not Atwell.
The 6th graders. No, for 6th graders.
I'll think of it. It'll come to me in a minute. But where he was going to school, he came and he said, they said he wanted to be in a journalism workshop. So I said, well, it's for high school students. And we had started taking college students because we found that college wasn't preparing
right.
our children.
It sure wasn't.
So So I told him, I said he can come. He's very welcome to come. But understand, I'm going to expect the same thing out of him that I expect out of everyone else. If he wants to give up 12 Saturdays, 9 to 5, including an out of town trip, and deal with me, bring it. Because I'm not a drug dealer, but I like it. Let's think about our communities. You go, that little boy come to little Pookie, the drug dealer.
He gonna spend 9 hours with him.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, I want to work for you." Pookie, the drug dealer, is gonna find something for that 6th grader to do until he's of an age to do what he needs to do.
And you know, and not only, but I listen to these other mentor groups that take those children that age out of the community to educate them. But my thing is, are you really educating the whole community? Because that little 6th grade boy, that little 6th grade girl got to go back into the community. And they back where they started from.
That environment.
They're back in that environment. So are you really cleaning up the community and educating the community where, okay, you giving that 6th grade child or 5th grade adolescent years of having a chance to mature, you know.
But you can't let them think that where they're coming from is bad. And you have to go in there. You have to go into that family, and that's what I did with my programs. I go in and embrace the family.
What they call it, early parenthood. You know, you not only you teaching that man, that woman how to be good parents. You know, I teach my 2 daughters. I say college is not going to really prepare you for what you need, but go get all you can get. Go work for a good company that you can, and then in another 10 years, I expect you to own your own business. I expect you to work for yourself.
Well, you know, and then you mentioned owning your own business, because if you look at things, and we have created a culture where the children, they don't want to work for nobody else. But they want to work for themselves. But I say that's fine. But get
your education.
You still got
to get that
base first.
But the base is also more than getting a law degree. Get a law degree and go work for somebody. Then
you can understand. Then you get your own.
Yeah, you can get your own. A public relations firm. All of those.
Work for that and then get your own.
Don't just come out with it. And I teach a lot of, even in my classes, even at Paul Quinn or wherever I am, I teach life lessons, because my contention is you're not going to lose a job because of what was in that book. It's the things that aren't in that book. It's going to get you
soft skills.
Let's do this right here. Let's get talk about a little bit more about the Bowl-a-thon. Who are some of the people that you have coming?
You.
We have a quick comment from an audience. They said, "Tell Cheryl Smith I love her and miss her, and I will be there." That's from Aaron Hopkins.
Oh, Aaron, and Aaron's son was in the journalism workshop. How is he doing? And I know that those kids went home and they talked about me like crazy, because I would tell them, you know, I told them I would get a belt and whoop your butt. Hello.
Yeah, I came to
that
Paul Quinn. I came to one of your classes.
That's that village.
Remember, I think when you was at Paul Quinn, I came there, and all them kids they was
Did
like,
you
okay.
get a whooping?
No. I just came just to be there, not teaching the class. I just came just to be there, and it was like, okay, she got these people.
When I first got there, they wanted to know who Miss Smith was, because I instituted a dress code. And I told them, I said, that's because until people find out how smart you are, because right now you're not there, they're going to at least know you look like you're smart.
You look like you know what you're doing.
And then I was bringing people in. I took Dick Gregory into the classroom, Tavis Smiley, executive editors around and everything. And real quick, I'll tell you about DeMondre. When he graduated from 8th grade, I took him and several students to Washington, D.C. for a journalism conference. And he gave his resume, 8th grade graduate now, to Bob Vaughn, who was executive editor of the Dallas Morning News at the time.
Wow.
And I see Bob, I saw him today actually at a Juneteenth event, but he still remembers DeMondre. Now, you know that resume didn't have hardly anything on it.
But that impact that he made.
But the fact that he...
Exactly.
That's nice.
And DeMondre supports the Bowl-a-thon, but one of the big names at the Bowl-a-thon this year, and you may have seen, how many of you are Empire fans? Well, Tosha Story, who is a homegirl, went to Booker T, went to SMU, and she's a Delta. And she
smile on that one.
She had to put that Delta in there.
yeah, and she
got on the red.
just read all this year for my 40th, as I pledged 40 years ago at Florida A&M.
Go girl!
And
Shameless plug.
look at you.
Well,
And
I'm
He just
right
beaming
there.
over there.
Mouse race.
Okay, look at you.
Anyway.
And
Shameless plug.
and we but Tosha plays China, who is Cookie's best friend when they were in prison.
Yeah.
She's not the one who had the baby and
Not
but she's
what is that?
You jumped up over there,
which
huh?
is, she doesn't have it. She doesn't really have a friend outside of prison, does she?
Not really, except her sisters.
Yeah, and so you want to see that sensitivity in writing, that you see a relationship between women that is good,
especially black
and
women.
positive.
Yes.
You
Pound
know,
cakes. Now she did go back to pound cake and help her find a daughter.
Yes. And so this is not
the other
pound
one.
cake.
Yeah.
But
This ain't
China-
pound cake. She ain't as big as pound cake.
No, she's very small, and so
Shush.
she's a sweetheart. But
Stop
she
shaming her.
also plays, and if you watch If Loving You Is Wrong,
Not yet.
okay,
It's on my list.
And she's that's Tyler Perry's show on OWN. And she was a sister to Taraji P. Henson in the movie Acrimony.
We have to watch that. We have
What's
not
her name
seen that
again?
yet.
Tosha, the
Tosha.
P is silent. Tosha Story. So she's going to be there, but we have a number of other
like
people.
Django.
There will be a number of
Indeed.
judges and elected officials who will be coming by.
I'm winning this year.
You're winning?
You see the
You
trophy.
see, I put the trophy there. It's
Yes, I
inspiration.
saw them.
He got to show out.
Both of these are good friends.
Oh, so you know a lot of judges.
Well, I help with the campaign.
Oh, you do know a lot of judges.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's get the
Just
money
in
out.
case you get in trouble.
Let's get the. I appreciate you.
And which I had to give a really plug for voting, because you had in the Duncanville
Right.
City Council race
Mark
where
Cooks,
Mark
yes.
one vote.
Congratulations.
One vote,
I
yes.
saw that.
Do you think
You think that one vote don't matter?
No, it should be contested because this is a runoff.
Yeah, but still, you wonder if there was any kind of,
No,
No,
yeah.
big Duncanville,
No,
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
big
yeah.
number.
But one vote.
But Mark has been around he's been doing that for a
He's
long
been on the
time.
city council before.
And he
Yeah.
was actually on my team the first year.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yes,
Really?
he was. He was on my team, and we're expecting him back. But we have,
Good to see more.
I'm expecting to see Bethel.
Okay.
Oh, Bethel's coming?
Yes,
Okay.
and they always stop by now.
Oh boy, they're playing against Bethel?
Yeah, Bethel.
But Nana is usually on my team,
Put
but
him
I
next
don't
to
know
Bethel's
Dante.
team.
And-
Dante is there in they're
Are
out
they
of
out?
yeah, they're out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're very supportive.
Yeah, they're
Very
out.
supportive. And those are the people we need to
We love
support,
them.
folks who are giving back, making conscious effort.
And
And
they
that's
are.
the thing I wrote about in my column this week in Texas Metro News. I wrote about one year I picked up, Chuck D was speaking somewhere, and I picked him up from the airport, and it was payday, so I had to go by KKDA to get my check. And so he went in with me, he was talking around and everything. So someone was on the air and they wanted to get him on. He's like, no, because y'all not doing enough for the locals. And he was on,
Wow.
because some people, all they do is think about themselves. It's an opportunity for them to get on the mic. And he said, no. And he talked about how it's important to show love to the people who are right here.
Right there, yeah.
And like Tosha's from right here.
Right.
They want her to give love when she wins an award, but she's right here, and we need to show love for her.
Well, I'm bringing somebody special.
Oh yeah.
Remember Robert Newhouse?
Yes, I saw him.
Rod Newhouse's son.
Okay.
He's gonna come and play with us.
All right.
I thought you were going to say me.
No.
You
And
ain't
Well,
that
I can tell you, I am not a good bowler. I bowled when I was on the team when I was in the 8th grade, and I took bowling at FAMU, and it was the family thing that you did. But one year, a few years ago, I was just bowling like
Crazy, like out of your mind.
Yeah, and so people were standing behind me just watching. I don't know what was having, I think I had found love, and so that was, it was.
Look, Cheryl, he kicked me off the team.
Did he?
No,
Kicked
you're on
me
the
off
other
the
team.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're on
You
the other
didn't tell
team.
me that.
No, I
You
got
said I
two
could be the
teams.
cheerleader.
No, I have two
That's what he
teams,
told
right? I have two
Right.
teams, right? So you're on the other team.
Mm-hmm. See
We
that?
got one for
The other team.
Well,
Not his team.
Yeah,
the
the
other
other
team.
Well, this year, I'm telling you, you know what I used to do like
At least
So
you go.
competitive.
every year,
Well, at first he told me I
K104
was
would
the
always
cheerleader.
win.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man, that would
He wants to
drive
win,
me
and I can't
crazy.
help
I
but
said no,
win.
no. Every Sam Putney,
Well, no, Skip Murphy
Skip
came
Murphy.
in there. I mean, the folks coming there with 5 and 6 balls, and
Yeah.
That's
Them some
more-
avid bowlers.
Yeah,
for
every
real.
year they would
But
win.
that's the interesting thing because Skip started bowling at the bowlathon.
Wow. So he
And
really
then
learned
he
to
just
love
really
it.
got into it and everything. Yeah, so there are people who come in there that are just really, John Beckwith
Uh-huh.
comes in there. Former
John
Constable Derek Evans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They
Derek
come
Evans
in-
come in and
They are just,
Yeah,
now
'cause
when
his team
Cat
won one
Daddy
year.
comes,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
won't
Oh,
tell you.
my God.
When Cat Daddy comes, he's trying to
Which
buy
one
everybody
is cool?
shots so that
So that you can't, so you
He's funny.
right.
toe up and stuff like that. You can't live right.
Yeah.
You stay away from Cat Daddy.
And then that's the thing, though, even because I try to use everything as a teachable moment, because even when the young people come there from their street teams and everything, I say, come on, you don't need to be fighting over a plantation. You don't own that plantation.
Right, it ain't
You know,
yours.
and I did a show a few years ago, and they asked me, did I jump on a LeBron bandwagon late, because he was winning or whatever. No, I love me some LeBron. I don't know how you all feel about it, but I just would attribute that to the 10%, but the 90%.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
the 10% because
it
he's
is-
Cleveland.
But I love LeBron, and they asked me why, and I said because
East Coast.
because he said because he told folks he was free, and I've seen even at the radio station, I've seen people work there 25 years. When they're ready for you to go, what
You
do
gone.
you do?
They gone. You gone.
And they don't care.
They
You don't
just-
have nobody burning shirts or burning microphones or anything because you're gone. You're gone. So here was a man who said, I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got crucified because he said that. I love him telling him yes because he can do that. We need to do that more. We need to do the thing that Willis Johnson did when his son was graduating and getting ready to go to college. We knew he was not going to go to Grambling.
Right.
But just like he sat down with the OU coach and Texas coaches, he sat down with Doug Williams also.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to do. But it amazes me that we have these black people who don't even ask their child to consider to even look at a black college.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
well,
look
Paul
at it.
Quinn is coming up,
But
man.
okay,
Yes.
Paul
But
Quinn.
I
Michael
look
Sorrell is
at
doing that.
our African American coaches in
Okay.
high school. That's where the problem is.
Mm.
That's where it started. Because 9 out of 10, his players gonna listen to him. Okay? And the year my brother graduated from Kimball, my brother was amongst the blue chippers. Well, USC came down, they flew here personally, the defensive coordinator came and sat at my dad's table and say, if your son come play for me, I'm gonna name a defense after him. And they give you that,
I'm gone.
yeah,
Mhm.
you know.
Too many
High
cities.
hopes.
Yeah,
And I do understand
hopes and dreams.
He did very well at USC.
Yeah.
He did in 4
He
years.
graduated?
In
Yeah.
4 years, he graduated with a double degree. So from
Wow.
Do you think it was more the school or more home? Because you're saying,
Well, now,
and
let me put
then
it
too,
like this.
coaches aren't revered like they
Right,
were.
right. We'll put it like this. My brother didn't listen to the coach.
Okay.
It wasn't until my dad passed away, my mom passed away, that children like me, we take it for granted. We had both parents in the house.
Mhm.
If you know, when my dad spoke, it was law. You know,
Yeah,
so he took care of everybody.
Because your brother wound up going to the Jets and getting blackballed at the Jets.
Giants.
The Giants and got
Right.
blackballed for the NFL
Right.
because he hit a
Right.
coach.
Right. But you don't hear the whole story, how the coach was provoking him. You see, but then again,
But that's what happens.
But then again, as people like us, well, can I back up how they used to say, or how they still say it? If you white, you right. You know, so basically, we got to learn how to maintain our composure. that we can gain later on. So
yeah, we have to play. We have to
You
learn
gotta
how to
play the
play
game.
the
Play the
game.
You gotta learn how to play the
But the thing
game.
about it
If you
is
learn how to
that-
play the game, then you can rule the game.
But
You
going
gotta learn how to
back,
play it, though.
going back to what I'm stating here is they don't get from high school that the same education that's in those Ivy League.
It's still in HBCUs.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and they're not really getting that because a lot of them are not graduating.
Right.
A lot of them are not graduating. A lot of them can't read.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And a lot of things that are done. So that undergirding. My thing is, if you're going to be good, okay. So would Bob Hayes have been better if he had gone to a white school?
No, he's gonna be the same.
You know,
But
and there
see-
are others. But so we have to understand. But one thing that black
Mhm.
parents are doing that's even worse than just saying, okay, no, my child is going to a predominantly white institution. They're all of a sudden they're like, oh, college isn't for everybody. I said, okay, it's laying on your couch all day for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't get me
It's
started
being in
on
that
one.
corner. My contention is college
That
is
is
not
not.
going to hurt you.
Right.
Well,
You know,
It's
it's
gonna
not
help
going to
you.
kill you, hopefully.
Mhm.
And it's a chance for you to grow because you still are not there.
Right.
You are
Right.
still not ready.
I'm
Don't-
Kimber Pride. I went to death, my high school. I'm proud. But even going to Kimber High School, I didn't get, it's one thing I missed. They didn't have black history.
Oh,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, black history didn't come up until
You know,
like it's not even there
but
now.
your other high school, like South Oak Cliff,
Will Richardson didn't have it.
But I'm just saying, Madison, they had it.
Mm.
You know, so I missed that. I really, if I learned black history, I learned it from my parents or other people or at church, but not in the school I was in.
Look at you, why you probably had it. Let's do this right here. Let's keep it moving forward because we getting a long time. We got to do our segment. He say, she say, right?
He say, she
So
say.
this is the segment, Cheryl, that it's basically an argument between a man. What
It's not an argument, it's a discussion.
discussion.
It's a debate
Y'all
from a
switch.
male and female
Y'all
perspective.
switch seats.
No, she gonna sit right there because I'm gonna pass her the lick that I need to give to you.
There you go.
There it is. See?
All right. So what?
So what we'll do at the end, before we close out the whole show, we'll give more information when people can get their tickets and stuff for the for both on.
Right.
So the he say she say topic is, what is more devastating, losing a friendship or a relationship, as in boyfriend girlfriend or husband wife? What is more devastating, losing a friendship or a relationship?
This is the first time I really didn't have a real answer because when you said it, I was like,
When we talked about it, because we forgot to ask on the call yesterday, I was like, oh shoot, we forgot the question. So we were talking, and I was like, well, I heard this someplace else, and I thought that it was a pretty good question, and I liked the answers that were given before. So I'll give you some of the answers that my family gave me.
Before, so I won't forget mine, and I hope someone did the same.
What is
But,
more devastating, losing a friendship or a relationship? You tell me what your answer is.
Well, for me, because we go through all of these relationships, but when you can find that relationship that is a real friendship,
Mm-hmm.
because every relationship is not a friendship, nor is it good. But when you have that friendship, there is a relationship. I think that's devastating. And I actually have a cousin who I talked to last week, and she said he's gone, and she said I can't imagine living without him. And so
Best friend.
I was trying to say it was her husband,
Mm-hmm.
and she, he was that relationship.
He was that best
friendship.
friend.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
And so, and they'd only been married like 3 years.
Wow.
Wow.
How
So
long had
then
they been
when I
friends?
think about people, I'm sure it wasn't over 5.
Wow.
But I'm thinking about some of the couples that you meet that would have been married for 50 years and had been through things and got to a point that because if you in a marriage that long, because interestingly there were some guys I used to work with and they were like, when I get to be soon the kids are out, I'm out, and so they weren't building on a relationship.
They was just.
And they didn't have a friend.
Mm-mm.
And it's important to grow together. So, I have friendships, and I try to tell young people that when they're talking about my friend, my home, I said, let me tell you something. there are gonna be people. I give an example of a friend that I had that we spent every minute we could together. We walked to school together. We walked home. We played softball together. We sat, you know how the athletes sit together in lunchroom. We did all this stuff together. I have not talked to her since the summer I went away to college.
Wow.
Have not talked to her. She's never come back to a reunion. Never seen her or anything.
Wow.
But that was my friend.
Right.
But that's when I was getting trouble.
That. But you called her your friend. She may not have called you.
And we called each other friends, but we evolved. She was a friend for that season.
Yes.
And then I have another friend that I think we remain friends because we're not together.
But yeah. You're
I
apart,
moved
so you'd be
away.
better apart than you are together.
And then I have a friendship of sorority sisters, and I saw this when we came back for our reunion last month. That even though we've been, we come back and it's like we never
left
one another. But then when you have that relationship with your mate, with your guy or female, I'm not judging, but when you have that, and it is a real
Steven.
Get it.
and you have a friendship.
I don't have that kind of friends.
It is so important. It's like you're, and I'm sure before, there are people that say, gosh, when I tell young girls, save your virginity for when it matters. Because I assure you, these little boys don't know what they're doing. It takes them a long while to realize what they're doing. And so don't waste it on
I do.
because you're going to meet somebody and the love that you feel for him in a friendship relationship will make you say, I wish I had saved it for them.
Right.
So, I
So
just when you find that friendship, that's
everything, because that can create the relationship that you can move forward. So the answer to the question is, if you lose that friendship, which became a relationship, what you're saying is that's more devastating. Now, if we're talking about splitting the two up, this is a friendship, this is a relationship, because and my thing is that you have what they call acquaintances, or because it's hard to create a friendship.
I'm your Facebook friend.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends that I've been friends with since high school.
Right.
And like one of a guy named Byron Stanley, B. He comes by.
Like a brother.
Yeah. It's like we're like brothers though. So that losing that type of friendship would be hard.
And what would make you lose it though? The only thing I can say would lose it would be death.
That's the only thing that would if it's that solid. That's the only thing that would make you lose it, because you can get into arguments. You go your way, I go my way. We're still friends. But if you get into an argument, the next
men than brokenness.
Yeah, if you get into an argument, the next thing you know, you gone. Then we really wasn't friends. So that's what would tell you. Was I a friend of you and you a friend of me, or you was just hanging out?
Right.
Well, I kind of like how she put it. You have some friends that are just for a season.
Right.
Not a lifetime.
Right.
Then I have some friends that okay, we ain't seen each other in years, but when we do see,
you still there. Yeah.
It's like we never parted ways.
And then there are some friends that I knew way back in the day that now we're friends now.
But you wasn't then.
Not then.
Not as
But
close.
can you lose a relationship and still be friends?
Yeah.
It just depends. I think for
Not if you're married.
I don't know if
this was the answer that some of my relatives gave me. I had two uncles that answered the question, and they were basically like, okay, in a marriage relationship, you should be friends with your spouse. So to separate the two would be hard, and to lose that relationship would be hard. Like you said, you've been married for 50 years. Even if you're married for 5 years, if you have a true friendship with your spouse, that's a devastating loss to lose not only the relationship, but the friendship. And then on the other hand, what Cedric was saying was, I have these friends that I grew up with, and we're close. We like brothers, and if something was to happen to them, death or otherwise, that would be a devastating loss as well. And trying to compare the two is kind of hard to say which one would be.
If you saw something happening with one of his friends because of your relationship with Cedric, you would try to help with that and bring them back together. Everybody won't do that because there's some who will probably be envious of that friendship.
I'll give you a good scenario.
And vice versa. His friends, they not letting nothing happen to us.
Yeah, I
They
give you,
will call him up, or I can call them, or send them a text message. They call him up.
I'll give you a good scenario. And I hope you don't mind me saying this on air. You know, me and Cheryl, we've been separated a couple of times, right? So one of the
You're always
things.
doing
First, give me the premise of what you get ready to talk about before you ask me for my permission. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
And there goes the relationship.
I'm kidding. Go
There
ahead.
goes the
You
relationship.
have to
It's
get
a
yourself
long
together
time.
and come back begging. Strong.
Well,
You should be sleeping on the couch tonight.
no, you will be. Don't play.
No, but one of the things, like when we first, so we were
Well,
friends.
first talk about the
we
relationship
were
as
friends before.
A long time.
Yeah, we were friends a long time before we
We've
were
been
in a
friends about
relationship.
18 years.
And it was just strictly friends, you know, strictly friends. And one of the things that we were afraid of when we first decided to say, okay, we're going to be a couple, we was afraid of losing that friendship. I was like, you know what?
That was the main thing I said to him is I don't want to lose our friendship.
And then even in our separations, we still couldn't get away from that friendship.
He couldn't.
Oh, yeah,
I was gone.
You was in Arizona.
Yeah, I was out because once it and seriously, and he knows this. I've told him this. Once we cross over from just being friends into the marriage relationship, it wasn't hard to not be his friend, but I've always had the mindset that once I break up with someone, it's done. It's over and done with. But because we had a friendship, it was hard to do that. It was hard to move and say, okay, I'm just kick you to the curb.
So go back to the other question. An X is an X for a reason, so I wasn't an X for a reason.
Yeah, it was hard to, because we would separate. I'm like, okay, I'm closing this door. I block him on the phone. I do all this stuff. I wouldn't respond to his emails or any of that stuff, but my heart was aching because my heart was aching for my friend.
Big Daddy wasn't around. So, you know.
Okay, Big Daddy, calm down.
Well, you know, y'all hear me talk about me and my wife often, and my wife is my wife at home. But when we out and about together, that's my girlfriend.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Date your mate.
So in other words, and I explained, she kind of looked funny. I said, well, baby, look like this. When we were dating each other, we were giving each other our best. So let's not stop there. Now, the devastation part, I think it would be on her part.
She'll be all
My wife don't even want to talk about me dying.
Yeah, we don't. One thing my uncle said to me, because, you know, there have been times within our marriage where I've wanted to just give up. And just, I mean, we've had, and he knows this. We both have. Yes, we do. Anyway, we've had moments that we just been like, you know what, this is not working. You know, you go your way, I'll go my way. And my uncle said, have patience. He's been married for over 40 years. And my uncle said, I'm going to tell you this. This is all I'm going to tell you. I don't even want to hear what's going on between you and Cedric, because he's like a second dad to me.
No, we don't want to.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even want to hear the details. All I have to tell you, and all I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell him the same thing, is have patience with each other. Give each other grace. You know, and then like I said, the thought comes around when I'm in that moment is, if I do this, if I walk away from our marriage relationship, I lose my friend. And I don't want to lose that.
I call it the life support scenario, because I said, if something is irritating me, I say, is it really that important? If we were in a hospital room and he wanted life support, would I be saying, oh, this doesn't matter, and this doesn't matter, and this doesn't matter? Just please let him open his eyes and talk to me and hold me and all of this. And so then I look at things. So the thing about it is, and I've said this in relationships and everything, that I'm going to pick my battles, and I know what's important in life. And is it important that he leaves the toilet seat up No, I just put it down,
Yes.
and I have to decide.
You better put that toilet seat down.
Because I it's horrible, but I know
I can't swim.
Look, me and Central were married for 8 years, and he never did that. And then somebody said it, and all of a sudden he started leaving the toilet seat up.
He was doing
What
that
is
on
wrong
purpose.
with you?
And that's he was trying to
I put the lights back.
See what I was gonna
When
do.
we play a game with that, she puts it up, I puts it down. So in other words, when she gets through, she putting it up.
Who
for me.
said it is supposed to be down? And I'm looking at him like,
And that's
really?
what you have to do. You have to work on. There was someone we both know and love that they were getting ready to get married, and they had nice incomes. The husband loved to entertain a lot, but he did not like to clean.
Don't look at me, I clean.
And I said, listen, you know this going in is not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
So you just carve out something in your budget. You don't want to do the cleaning. Pay somebody to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to, you just have to decide what is going to be your battle.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be, what's going to be an issue for you? Is the snoring going to be an issue? Or are you going to be up there one day, if I could just
Roll
hear
over.
him snore one time.
Roll over.
All these things, and we need to pick our battles in those relationships. What's the deal breaker in a relationship? What will make you say, I'm walking away, and the feeling that you will feel inside, because
Once you do.
because I really feel like we can work through some things, and let's find out what's going on, and we have to grow together. And unfortunately, we have failed in instances lots of times because we will uplift a man so much that we are uplifting ourselves, and so they outgrow us.
Yes.
They outgrow us, and so
Well,
they're going on, and so then they're looking for somebody who they figure
That's
has
gonna match.
grown with them and matches and everything. So you have to do it together, and that's I would be, I look at couples who are going through things, and I say, is it really that important? Do you have to win? Is it really going to bother you that much that she does it? If you know something is going to go on,
But see, in a
give
relationship,
something different.
right? If one person wins, you both lose.
Yes. And then too, what happens if you know he's gonna do something? I used to tell my mom all the time, because she said my sister would come to visit and she would go in the bathroom and stay for hours. And I said, well, guess what? I said before she go, and my mom would get up and start slamming the kitchen cabinets and everything. And I said, now one thing, she knows you're gonna do that. And you know what she's going to do, so flip it on her. When she comes in and say, hey, baby, glad to see you, but wait a minute. I know you're going to get in my bathroom and stay for hours, so I'm going in there first. I said, then you go in there.
Then you go in there,
And it's flip it on her. You got to change it. And you have to see what works. If baby likes sleeping with the TV on, and you don't like sleeping with the TV on, and it may wake you up in the middle of the night and you see he's asleep, and the TV just watching you, ask about a timer.
I got a timer on.
And work, just try to work on things. And I think we don't spend a lot of time.
I'm gonna bring another TV in there.
Boy,
I
he
think
talking about getting a game system now. I'm like, boy, no.
We almost have time, so we normally give the last two professor. So school is professor.
Did you answer?
Yeah, he didn't answer.
Okay. Yes, professor.
I was just sitting there
Round
writing
it
down
up.
so I won't forget. So I was trying to think what's the difference between a friendship and a relationship to answer this question. When I think of a relationship, it's like an intimate interest with the friend, but with a different agenda than if you were just friends. And when you lose a relationship, there's a sense of an extreme personal loss to the point that it may have you operate on a different level where you can't function mentally and physically. And then, of course, if you lose a relationship with God, obviously you're doing the opposite of what He calls you to do, which is why He has you on this earth for His calling to give Him the glory. So I think it was an easy answer for me to say you suffer more when you lose a relationship with someone than you do just a friendship. That's an intimate level going upward when you go from a friendship to a relationship.
Right.
So when you lose that, you also lose that friendship. You just almost like lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's relationship. Now more so than the friendship. I think if I lose a friendship with someone, I may be hurt, but it won't have a permanent effect on me as much if I sit there and suffer the loss of my wife because she decided to divorce me. And she said, I just want to leave. I'm through with this marriage. I didn't do anything wrong.
I'm gonna say, what'd you do, Lewis? I mean, you know,
Not
talk.
You know, so I would be.
We need to talk.
I would be hurt, and I won't operate the way I do on a daily basis because I'm affected by losing a relationship with someone than a friendship, and that's just my answer.
All right.
I like that. I like that.
Besides, they want to be married. I was happy. I said, I was
Because there was no friendship.
Thank you, Jesus.
I was happy divorce, serious.
Had a divorce party and everything.
You woke up and said you didn't want to be married anymore?
Yeah, I think if you can walk away, the friendship is not there.
Yeah.
It's just all encompassing when you're married and you're married to your true friend. Because like my uncle said, you're supposed to be best friends with your spouse.
Yeah.
You know, that's my homie, lover, friend.
But I can't get rid of
We
it.
lovers?
Sometimes.
That's all right.
I
didn't know that.
I think he'll take that sometime better than nothing at all.
better than none at all, right?
But you're right. That my wife and really my wife now, I wasn't even looking to marry her.
See, with your friends, you can be transparent.
Right.
And when you're in a relationship, you can be more vulnerable. Like your friends, you can tell your secrets. But when you're married or when you're in a deep, intimate relationship, you can tell everything.
Right.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do this. We got to take a break. When we come back, we need to get into some Cowboy talk, Major League Baseball, Dallas Wings too. We got to talk about the Dallas Wings.
Talk about the Dallas Wings.
And
thank you for joining that he say she say question.
Thank you. It was a good one.
I needed a lady on the show with me.
Yes.
Because they just been attacking me lately.
that ain't me.
Not Lewis though. No.
Y'all. All right, this is 41 Sports Talk Radio on ForumRadioNetwork.com. We'll be right back.
All right. in here.
Yes, all right, we're back.
All right, we did musical chairs.
Yes, we did. We are back in full effect.
Back in the saddle again. These are Cheryl's papers.
Yes.
The Texas Metro News,
All right.
the Garland Journal, and the Texas Metro News. Where's her iMessenger?
I didn't see the item.
She has iMessenger too. But
All right. Again, we back.
Online.
41 Sports Talk Radio, 41radionetwork.com. I'm the Benchwarmer sitting here with the security professor and preacher. That was a spirited hour. Shelly did it again.
it was my hour.
There you go. There you go. That's why I was spirited. Let's get into let's start off because we missed a segment earlier.
They don't know that.
Yeah, we did. Let's do WNBA.
Oh,
Yeah,
that segment.
Yeah.
Dallas Wings and WNBA.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Wings won the last game they won against the Vegas, right?
Yes, the Las Vegas Aces, formerly known as the San Antonio Stars.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay, they did move to Las Vegas. Yeah,
Well, Las Vegas, coached by the great Bill Lambier.
Yeah. So
Wow.
when you were watching the Wings, what did you see that kind of stood out for you? I know Liz Cambridge,
Liz Cambage.
Yeah,
He told you early
Cambridge.
to make sure you get her name right.
The one thing that stood out with me is we have no problems dealing with teams with 500 records or below 500.
We can't be a 500 team.
We have no problem dealing with teams like that. Our problem is what I've noticed, and I said this before, is teams with the natural talented big. We have yet to beat a team with a talented big. They're losing to Minnesota right now, 87-77, with 52 seconds left in the fourth quarter in Minnesota. They're about to go 5-5 for the season.
But we got close with Phoenix, though.
Yeah, we got close with
And
Phoenix.
they got, what's the name?
But they always get close and then just.
But they were really close this time. I mean, just by 1 point.
Yeah, but the fourth quarter always tears up.
In that game, and I even said the officiating was horrendous. Coach Fred Williams was asked about the officiating, and his direct response was, "They're not taking no money from me." You saw what I saw.
Yeah. So he ain't gonna get. He's not gonna get fined, but still though.
You saw what I saw, and he left it at that. And then that's when we played the Aces, and the Wings won 77-67 in that game. But we continue to struggle against teams with bigs, natural bigs. Sylvia Fowles here with Minnesota. Then you have Brenda Griner, who we have lost twice to so far. And then after this game, we got to play Odyssey Sims and the Los Angeles Sparks on Friday at 7 p.m. featuring Candace Parker. We have a talented big one. Matter of fact, one of the best bigs in the league, in Liz Cambage. But again, we're a 500 team.
Didn't she get Player of the Week 1 week?
Huh?
Didn't she get Player of the Week?
Yes, she got Player of the Week when she was averaging over 25 points and 15 rebounds. I mean, she's a beast.
Yeah, but we're not putting anything around it. I'm gonna go back to.
We do have talent around it. The problem is execution.
Okay, so I'm going back to, is that coaching?
You gonna leave him
I gotta
alone?
ask the question, is that coaching? You don't want to say it, do you?
I can't. When you struggle with the big, you got the big. You have Skylar Diggins, you have Laura Johnson, you have Ariel Powers, who's a great sixth person off the bench. You have Karima Christmas Kelly. You have Kayla Thorne, who has really came on. You got the talent around Liz Cambage, and yet you still struggle against the talented teams. And it's the old saying: if you've done everything else you could on other things you could think of, it's coaching.
And but here's the deal, though. It's the fourth quarter struggle that I'm looking at. We start out hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your first, second, your third quarter, you're hot. The next thing you know, you almost give. Well, your third quarter, you give it up, and then your fourth quarter, you give it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
so I go back to, you know, you don't want to say it, but it's got to be it, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we not putting the right players on the court when it's time to put the right players on the court?
It could be we have the right players on the court, but the system doesn't fit the players' strength.
Right.
So do we not continue to run it by through Liz?
So you see, that's the thing, because of the addition, and she's back, and she's not brand new, because when she was drafted in 2012, and she's just 27, she was drafted when she was 19, 20. She was drafted by this team who was formerly known as the Shop, with the second overall pick. Then she went to Australia, which is where she's from. She was missing home, so she went to play overseas for a minute. Then she came back where she left off. And my only thing I'm gonna hold back off of answering that question is you have a new big to where you now run the offense through Cam Bays, to whereas before you was running through Skylar Diggins.
I mean, I'm saying, but
now, and Skylar Diggins, by the way, leads the WNBA in scoring.
Right, yeah.
She's averaging almost 23 points a game. She's number one
So then,
in scoring.
So then,
points per game.
So then, are we not putting? I mean, or what about the role players?
That is where our weakness at. That is the greatest weakness on this team. Only because
role players not stepping up.
For one, Gloria Johnson had pulled the hamstring
Yeah.
in the third preseason game against the Las Vegas Aces before season started. That took Kayla off the bench, who was the best role player for the bench, and she was in the starting lineup, and everyone else, we couldn't get double digits from anyone. And then Eric Powers
was hurt.
It was hurt, but she's now playing, but she's a little rusty. She was struggling from the field. I think she started 0 for 9 from the field before she finally got her first bucket. If her mom listens to the show, I'm sorry. Because she loved her. She loved her daughter, but I'm just speaking what I'm saying.
Here's the other thing, too, I look at is, why is it that the Wings are always starting the season with hurt players?
That's a good question. We started the season with Ariel Powers had the quad injury, Gloria Johnson with the hamstring. The previous season, we started with Skylar Diggins with the knee.
She was hurt.
This season, Teresa Plaisance tore her MCL during the WNBA offseason, but playing overseas. Because keep in mind, when the WNBA is out, they have to find a way to make money.
Yeah.
So
they go overseas.
That's where it is. They playing through the offseason.
I mean, but how come other teams don't have the same issue?
Well, we don't know that.
Well,
yeah, you do kind of know who's hurt and who's not hurt.
There was a Minnesota up 87-80 with 102 left in the fourth quarter. Dallas was coming late. They've been behind as many as 15 in this game. You ask a question that I think something that we may have to talk about probably on another Tuesday or something. And I'm going to read you a tweet that Liz Cambage had tweeted out yesterday. And she got over 1,500 retweets on this. She said, "Today I learned that NBA referees make more money than a WNBA player, and the 12th man on a regular NBA team makes more than a whole NBA team."
Dang.
The whole NBA or WNBA?
The whole WNBA team.
The 12th
man on the Golden State Warriors makes more than an entire WNBA team.
Well, because they get paid like what, $20,000 a year?
So much. I think that what's her name, Skylar was making. When I looked at the salaries, she was making 60, but she was like the highest paid that I saw, because everybody else was in like 20s and 30s.
So Skylar Diggins retweeted that, and she said, Then she turned and said, the NBA gets 50% of the revenue they bring in. We don't even get half of that. Of the revenue we bring in. That they bring in for the WNBA.
I smell a strike coming on.
Yeah, I smell it.
So she said, let's start there.
Yeah. I smell a strike coming on.
And
they don't even get half the endorsements, the deals that the NBA gets. You don't see a lot of endorsement deals for the WNBA.
But the WNBA is sure pushing them out there, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, the WNBA, and remember last year, was it last year? They celebrated 20 years, and I was sitting back and thinking, I was like, there's been 20 years of WNBA,
and they still,
it's like they just started.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they have just started in this industry.
Some of the comments were, one person said, I am for equal pay between men and women, but just out of curiosity, does the WNBA bring in that kind of money to accommodate for an increase in salary? The numbers have to work or it won't work. I'm just saying. I'm a fan and I would support just seeing this argument a lot and was curious about that. One other person said, I believe that regardless of how much the NBA and the WNBA make, the NBA gives a higher percentage if it's revenue to its players than the WNBA does. So even proportionately to how much each league brings in, the women are being paid less. This is coming from a man, if that matters. One person said the WNBA is not a separate league starting at the bottom with no structure. The cost to keep the WNBA running isn't a big issue. Arenas played in most cases, are NBA arenas as well. WNBA teams are usually owned by their own NBA affiliates, and the WNBA is a subsidiary of the NBA. I mean, this is an argument.
My problem is this. You can't even find a WNBA game online. It's on ESPN W.
Oh, the WNBA Game Pass. That
yeah,
you have to purchase.
But you got to purchase that separate from. And I'm like, okay,
but
why don't you? They're not playing during the regular season. So why can't they be on regular stations like ESPN and Fox Sports and all these other ones?
But even with them being on that special channel that you got to pay for, somebody's making some money.
Somebody making some money from advertising.
Yeah, but then again, like the question
and like
was
you
that,
said,
and I'm not trying to be what they call us, chauvinistic about this.
Yes, you are.
But no, because you got to look at the number.
I understand that, but they're not getting as much publicity
and a
push like the NBA is.
You remember when I told y'all for the last 2 to 3 weeks, I never heard no type of publicity about them. Today, I heard 3 different commercial spots about the Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Today.
But when they first came, they made a big to-do about it. They were giving away tickets and everything.
But put it like this. It all depends on who wants to really promote it.
And their WNBA is not promoting.
Right.
You know.
The team is not promoting either.
And I know the team got money because they got coaches. They have staff.
Yeah.
So somebody got
the owner
money.
The owner owns the Bank of America.
But now, let me put it like this here. If I had a choice, well, right now, I'll probably go see the Wings before I go see the Mavericks.
Right.
But when they was on their way to the national championship, I would say, okay, let's go see the Mavericks.
Right.
So what am I really saying is all about really what excites me.
Mm-hmm. But if number one, if you put something on the floor, if the Wings were, let's say the Wings were 8-1 or 8-2 right now, okay. Number one, you put more butts in seats. That builds more money. That generates more revenue.
What?
But the problem is this right here though. Are the owners going to bring that back to the players?
Right.
I
go ahead.
I was going to say another issue I think is we're not thinking about is the number of NBA teams in the league versus WNBA.
Right.
There's only 12 teams in the WNBA versus, 30?
Yes.
30 teams in
30, 32,
in
34?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the number of games they play.
Right.
So let's start there.
And the season.
You got more teams in the NBA than the WNBA, which means the NBA going to obviously get more revenue because there's just more teams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's more exposure in the NBA versus the WNBA. There's no question that there's more exposure for NBA. There's no question that there's more exposure for NFL because now we have women's football league, women's professional football, and as you can see, it's one hit wonder, and it just doesn't get the oomph that the male counterparts are getting.
But when you're talking about women's football team, I'm not interested in going to see women play football. I'm not interested in it because I don't need to see some woman that thinks she can woman handle me. Okay,
but that's not what women's football is about. They just playing. They love football and they playing football. What's wrong with that?
But security.
You didn't see that game I was watching. I was there. That one ran
even
over.
Women college basketball. I barely tell them watch the game, and we know that's a big industry.
But that's your male.
No, it's not.
Subconsciously being chauvinistic against women.
You missed the point that I made. What interests me?
That's what I'm saying. As a man, you're not interested
I would go see
in
women run track, big time, because that's what.
But it's almost like you're putting women in a box. Okay,
no.
I watch you play tennis. I watch you run track. I watch you do volleyball.
I watch a woman play golf.
But that's what I'm saying. To me, you're boxing women in. If a woman wants to play football, why not go and watch her and support her? If a woman plays basketball, why not go and support her?
But I have
that's just you're boxing them in.
I have
That's the whole point of them creating
I have
the WNBA and the professional women in football.
I have this marketing question.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be? I mean, what he just said. Could that be one of the issues why the WNBA is not getting that recognition?
That's a big reason. That's what I'm saying. That's a big reason.
My question is not that. My question is because of the interest, because of the overall interest.
Well, if you look at who dominates in watching sports, it's men.
Yeah.
And if men are not interested in seeing women play these sports, which is him, then it like what he's saying, I'm not interested in seeing this. I don't want to see a woman manhandle me or whatever. That
opinion, she would manhandle me.
Anyway, they could manhandle you. But I'm just saying, if you look at his point of view, that is probably almost 50% of what the other people are thinking.
Or could it be that?
I tell you what, go to the next Cowboy game. Stand and look. You have just as much women out there than you do men. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's because but my wife is not a sports. No, my wife is not.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did say that. My wife is not a sports fanatic.
Mm-hmm. She goes to support you.
No.
She ain't going nowhere.
My wife,
shopping.
There you go. There you go. But that's my wife, though. I don't expect her to be interested in everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I just said. There's more men that attend sports and watch sports, even though you may see a lot of women in the stands at a Dallas Cowboys game. I mean, that's Dallas Cowboys. At the Dallas Mavericks game, how many women do you see?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Brian. When is it that, and I'm just gonna put it out there, and y'all can jump on and do what you want to do. When is it that a woman is going too far in what she feels like she could do? What I mean by that is, you got women boxing now. You got women.
But they're not boxing men. They're boxing other women. To me, it's not crossing the line if you're not crossing into a male sport playing a male. We're playing other women. Basketball is women's basketball.
No. Here's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Okay, what are you saying?
And I'm just asking the question. That's all I'm doing. Is asking the question. I'm saying, you know how women say we can do everything a man can do?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You wasn't made to do everything a man can do. So what makes you think you can do everything a man can do? If that's what you were not made for, what makes a woman think she can?
So what was a woman made for?
Ask God. I didn't make it.
You brought it up. You brought it up.
You want me to answer?
Because what does the Bible say a woman was made for?
The kitchen and the bedroom, baby. The kitchen and bedroom.
Wait a minute.
Ladies,
the
opinions expressed on this station do not reflect all of our opinions.
Can I ask this question before I answer that? Who is greater, man or woman?
God is greater.
God is greater.
God is greater.
That wasn't for the question.
Man.
You say man. What do you say?
God is greater.
I didn't ask that. That wasn't for the question.
What do you mean by greater? You mean stronger?
I just period.
Because in the mind, the woman is greater.
Okay,
mentally, a woman is greater. Physically, a
Okay, I
man is
like to
greater.
have
No,
to beg the
okay,
difference
come
now.
on,
I beg the
Emotionally,
difference.
Come on, you,
mentally,
okay,
a woman is
you
greater
stuck on
than a
something
man.
right now.
I beg the
And
difference, boss.
men, y'all have brawn.
Okay, what do
Y'all
you
have
say,
the brawn.
bitch
We
woman?
got
What
the
do you say?
brains.
I beg the difference, boss.
Who do you say is great?
In the Bible, God.
No, I just need to
Ah.
hear.
No, I'm gonna tell you. In the Bible, it calls a man, it calls a woman a weaker vessel.
But I didn't ask that.
I think a man is
That's the
greater.
question.
I think a man is greater.
Okay, a man is
No,
greater.
greater
No,
than
listen. A man is greater being a man. A woman is greater being a woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now when you fall out or step out of the road.
But that's
Wait a
what
minute,
I'm
wait a
asking
minute,
you.
wait a minute,
Who
wait a
says women
Wait a
can't play
minute. When you
sports
step out of the road,
against other women?
when you step, okay, let me put it like this. If my wife come home from a boxing match that she was in and all bruised up, one of us sleeping somewhere else. My wife come home from a football game.
I love this man.
No,
If
you
I
know
wanna
she was
play
fighting
football,
another woman.
You know,
I love him. But if I want to play football, I'm gonna play football.
Do
If
you
I
wanna
want to play
play football?
basketball, I'm
Do you
gonna
wanna
play
play football?
I'm just saying.
Do you want to
If-
play football?
I actually was asking
Do
the
you
ladies
wanna
when they
play
were here.
football?
There was a
Yes
lady
and
that I
no.
was looking
And
at
yes
eye
or
to
no.
eye.
Yeah. Oh, she
And
was
I
short
like,
too, huh?
She was.
Yeah.
We
Yes
were
or
looking
no?
eye to eye, and she
Yes
plays
or
football. I was
no?
like, oh man, I could play football.
Security,
I
yes
love
or
football.
no?
Yes.
You would play football.
I would play football.
At your
Okay.
age?
I played basketball when I was in school.
That's different.
I played tennis. I played
That's
volleyball.
different.
I played sports when I was in school.
But you would play football right
She
now.
I would play football if it was an option. If it was an option for me when I was in high school, I would have played football.
Well, let me put it like
Powder
this.
puff football, I would have played it.
Put it like this.
Because I love sports
Ah.
as a woman.
Powder
And I
puff.
don't have to. Huh?
Powder puff.
Shut up, Cedric. Shut up, Al.
Hey,
But anyway, I'm just saying, who says that women cannot play
I didn't say they could.
sports against other women?
No, I didn't
I
say
didn't
that,
say-
but
we
I'm
didn't
asking
say
my
that.
question. The question I'm reason why I
that
asked
is
the
not my
question.
desire to have a woman.
The reason why I asked the question is this
How
right
do
here.
you know that?
Huh?
How do you know that?
I've seen it.
Look,
I
I'm saying
can do
is
compare.
that
No, I'm not saying.
male-dominated.
Louis, we've
Sports.
gone way off with WNBA.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a he say, she
Well,
say question.
well.
I'm gonna write it down.
That is a
next
he say,
time.
she say
Right,
question.
right.
Mhm.
Well, and don't
You
get
might wanna have
tested about it. I'm not taking that.
I ain't getting tested.
You might
I
wanna
tell
have
you
another
what,
she
you
in
feel
here.
like you
I
answer
need
the
to have
question.
another
Let
shit
me
in
tell you.
that. I
You
need
feel
Tawana.
like I
Where
tell
you
you
at,
what.
Tawana?
Let me put it like this. You feel like the
I
woman can
need
do
to
that?
walk.
Okay, I tell you what. This is what I need those women to start doing for me. When I'm getting ready to walk up to the door, you open it. When I hear a prowler around, you get up and I stay in the bed.
You have to
Ooh.
get kicked out this
See,
house.
now, wait a minute.
Ooh,
Wait a minute.
ooh, that's-
Wait
You
a
got to
minute.
get up out of
Wait a
here.
minute.
It's a good point.
Wait a minute.
I'm not
Wait a minute.
talking about none of
Wait a
that
minute.
stuff.
No,
I'm
good
just saying
point.
if I want to play sports.
You go do certain things.
Well, then how about this? How about you go to work and you pay all the bills and I stay home and take care of the house? Because if I got to step outside the house and
But
do some
see,
work too, then we both need to be taking care of this house
society have changed that.
too. Exactly.
The government has changed that.
Okay, and so since we have that
Do
opportunity,
we have another segment here that we need to
no,
move on to?
see, you
Yeah,
trying
we-
to change
yeah, we got another
subject.
segment. We
You
got-
done
yeah,
got on
we-
my nerves
No,
twice tonight.
and-
Tawana, I need you, girl.
We
I
got-
need you.
She told me to have fun.
She joined.
She told me to
I
have fun.
called her and she joined.
Am I supposed to be
Look
scared
here,
of that?
lady. They talk about we can't play sports. As
I didn't say
No,
that. Don't
no,
lie.
no, no, no,
Don't
no,
lie.
no,
Don't
no,
lie.
we did not say that.
They
What
being
I'm
male
saying-
chauvinist. I need you on the show.
saying-
Look
I'm
at my
saying-
face.
I'm saying I don't
begging
want a
you to come
woman
back, please.
in my life that
Quinn,
goes
the
boxing.
one
You know, because you're going to get
What
bruised.
we're saying is this right here. We're talking about the WNBA and
They're
why
gonna
are
try
they
to
not-
change it up now
Why
that
are
you
they
watch
not
it.
getting paid at what the NBA is? We put a couple of things out there. We said, okay, you know what? How many teams you got? But we also put on the mental aspect of it, as far as
That ain't what you said.
no, as far as how do people view the WNBA and where are women putting themselves in? And a lot of times you say, okay, we know what. I'm not interested in that because I'm not interested in seeing.
That comment say over there.
I'm not interested in seeing. It just says she joined. I'm not interested in watching a woman.
Tell us
Talk
how
about
it is.
on his phone. What does his phone say?
It says is watching. That's all.
Oh. But the point that I'm making here is upon individual preference, what you desire. Okay? I stated I do not desire to go see women box and get bruised up, because to me, a woman.
It's supposed to be soft and pretty and made for the kitchen.
I didn't say the kitchen.
No, the bedroom.
Barefoot and
I didn't say,
crazy.
I didn't say the bedroom.
That's where you go.
No, it's not.
You don't have to say it. I'm reading between the
No, the
lines.
kitchen and the bedroom.
Number one, that was your husband that said that. I'm not your man, so don't talk to me like
Where's the,
that.
where are the things that come up with the red, purple, and blue? We're having technical difficulties.
Tell the doctor to call in. I want to hear her.
Doc, we need you.
No.
I need you.
Okay, so
They are ganging up on me.
As we're moving forward, we got to move on to
We gotta move on.
Yeah, we got to move on. Dallas Cowboys training camp coming up.
Right.
Yes.
They just had OTAs.
Uh-huh.
Zach Martin just got what, 82
He
million.
got his paid.
He got
Man, he got paid.
Why is the question still out there about where's Dez?
I saw that. Who was
Can
it?
we get over Dez not being here?
I
No.
think the question
Because
is
what's the name
out
was like he
there.
might come back.
He ain't coming back.
He could.
I mean,
Right.
He could. Is the money right?
No. It ain't about money.
I
With the
understand.
Cowboys, it's not about money.
But
It's
not- what
okay,
about
let me
Dez?
put it like this.
He's talking about Dez.
Okay, but then again, okay, how they market him then?
Yeah.
He could come back.
Come back to
How-
Dallas?
What's
Well,
that?
maybe
how they
this
market
has
him.
humbled him.
Right,
So if he
right.
come back, he'd be a different kind of.
Right.
He'd have a
But,
different mentality.
Cedric, I said all along from the very beginning, I was disturbed by the fact that they waited until the week before
Yes.
OTAs
Yes.
to release him when they could have
They was
released him
wrong
and they
for
made
that.
up their mind he won't go on the team the
They
following
already
year.
do.
But
Yeah.
I kept hearing, well, they weren't sure how the roster was going to be. But your mind was made up. You want Dez
You
Bryant
already
on the
knew.
team.
You
You
already
should
knew.
have let him go right after the Super Bowl.
Right.
If you felt that way, give him an opportunity to see who
Yes.
Who was out there
Yes.
for
what
him?
was out there, but instead you kept him. Then
But my
you talked
question-
about
You played
saying
with
he
him,
couldn't
you toyed with
separate
his
no more.
emotions.
When you go deep, he can't do this and do that. And then right before they reported that Friday,
when you
it was
tell
a
him.
Friday when
They
they
had
released
to-
him. They reported that Monday.
So
So
and
Michael
I think
Irvin
that
was
really
out at
hurt
the
him.
training camp,
No,
and
I
he
get-
was like, "There's a possibility that Dez might come back." Michael Irvin said
Yeah,
that.
Michael Irvin ain't in the brain trust.
Anyway,
He is not in the brain
I'm
trust.
just saying he was
No,
out
no,
there. He
I'm
said
gonna tell
that
you
might
why.
be an
I'm gonna tell you
option.
why he's not coming back. I'm gonna tell you why he's not coming back because
He
he.
got the inside.
I'm in the brain trust.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason why he's not coming
You
back.
wrong?
And the reason why he's not coming
I
back
told
is
you
because
wrong.
he's not Dak friendly receiver. Dez is not a
He's
Dak
not
friendly
a
receiver.
Jason friendly. neither.
Jason and his boys.
Jason Garrett.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
Jason and
yeah,
his
yeah.
boys.
But no, but he's not. This is a Dak
But
Prescott
I'm
offense.
saying that with this situation, the way they did him, if there was an opportunity, he might be more humble coming back.
But the brass
it's
got
an
to want his
opportunity.
back. The brass got to.
But that's
They
what I'm
got
saying. If
800
they gave him
receivers.
the opportunity,
But they got 800 receivers.
Can
they play like this?
You don't need a top receiver to be great. I mean, not to go to Super Bowl.
And that's what Dak Prescott wants to prove this year.
Yeah.
I don't need a number one.
I
Just
don't
give
need
me a
no
bunch
number.
of
Give me
twos. Not gonna work with
Right.
that.
Dak can catch it,
And
ain't
only
ball.
the greats, the Bradys and the Rodgers and the Brees of the world can operate like that without having a top receiver on their team.
But-
Dak
Now-
can say, no, I just give me somebody that can catch a ball.
On the other side of the fence, Dez caused too much controversy. He caused negative attention to the team. A team don't need that negativity.
Right.
They need a oneness. And that is as team with what is our common goal.
And Dez has already showed you how immature he is by even turning down the Baltimore contract.
3 years, $21 million. Turned
Yeah.
down. He turned it down. He
Talking
did
about,
that.
I want a 1 year so I can show you I can still do it so I can get a better contract.
The following year when we get
Yeah,
back
yeah.
out in the
When
market.
you get
Giving
out
him
in the market.
advice.
I don't
Yeah.
think that wasn't the smart. That wasn't the
No,
smart.
I'm like, take the 3 and 21.
I can understand his theory and his logic behind that, but at this point, after the way the
stuck.
Cowboys did him
Yeah.
and talked about what he couldn't do on the field anymore, I would have took that and ran with
And
it.
the other thing is, if you ever look at this, what was that show on Prime that I look at?
Which one?
They had a Cowboy special. Amazon had a Cowboy special.
Oh,
Yes.
the one.
Yeah, you see that right there?
Cowboys.
You see him in there. You seen it before?
I saw it.
You see him in there talking to the coaches. Man, I really want to. And I told the coach. He said, I told Jason Garrett I didn't want to play football no more.
Who said that?
Dez
Bryant.
Dez actually said, I told Jason I didn't want to play no more.
Well, why he keeps suiting up?
Right.
Right. And then he said, I had to get my right, man. I love this game. I love this game. I'm like, dude, you're the only player on this team that got one-on-one conversations with every one of the coaches, and all of them go sour with you. It's like your emotions are so tight. And one of the coaches said, well, yeah, but you got to calm that down.
See, it was what we heard the last for 4 or 5 years about Dez and his antics on the sideline. Stephen Jones kept saying, "Oh, that's just the way he exhibits his energy and hypes the team up, but yada yada yada." And then at the last minute, he came back and said basically paraphrasing, he need to work on that. And now he's gone.
So now we don't have that distraction in the team
because Stephen and whoever else kept giving him that approval.
Yeah, they let it go.
And kept allowing him to have some kind of excuse. No, either you do it my way, you shut up.
Yeah, they
or you go on. You know,
they let him go. Yeah.
So you know, yeah, they let him go.
I'm like, you know, and that was a distraction. It's probably more of a distraction for Dak than it was for Dez. I mean, from everybody else, because now I got people that can catch a ball. I don't have prima donnas on my team.
I mean, I hate to say it, you know, a lot of people disagree with me, but I think one of those people that led to his release was Dak Prescott.
Probably so.
They think so.
And people look at me crazy like, Lewis, please.
He said that's Jason's boy.
Well,
that's one of Jason's boys.
But still,
Come on now.
I mean,
he
okay,
said
wait
that's
a
who it
minute.
was.
That's your coach on the field.
You do what he needs you to do.
He is the QB. You need.
Yeah.
We design these plays. I'm studying these plays. I'm studying these plays day in and day out. But you get on the field, you want to do your own thing. And then when you talk all this noise and the ball do come your way,
you don't
simple
catch
pass,
it. Yeah.
you drop
You
them.
drop
it.
And then the ones you don't fell out with said, they said on the field, what you said? Look at that joker.
Right, and not only that, it goes straight to your hands, and you get, you know, Dak don't like
interceptions. We saw that several
Right.
times where he dropped the pass, he just looked in the sky.
Right.
like,
But,
I mean, he asked for the ball, Dak gave it to him.
Yeah,
I mean, there were some passes to where Dak was all but Bryant was still able to get it.
The ball was in your hand.
I mean,
What
we
game
paid you
was that?
$12.5 million to catch the football.
What game was that?
Right.
That the ball went through his hand? It was in the playoff game, I think. Went through his hand, and the DB intercept the ball, and the Cowboys wound up losing the game.
It was the Chiefs.
They beat the Chiefs. They wasn't the Chiefs.
They beat the Chiefs, but I think it happened in that game.
It happened a couple of times.
And again, I think it's the Packers.
Yeah, the Packers. He dropped. He caught.
No, Seattle.
Yeah, the Seattle. Yeah.
The Cowboys could have won the game.
Yeah.
But if you had caught the ball, we would have. The momentum changed then when he
dropped the ball over.
And he don't try to tackle you.
No. And then against the Green Bay Packers, he caught it, made a move, and then fumbled.
I think one of the biggest.
He need a pass like that.
I think one of the biggest statements that was made on Dez Bryant in a negative way that Dez could not beat out was when Janoris Jenkins told everybody on national TV how many routes Dez ran, and each round went on the field and proved to everybody what he was saying.
That's the routes he ran. He ain't got but 3 routes.
That was the most embarrassing thing you can go through. And then on top of that, not only he said it, he showed everybody that you can run 2 or 3 routes when he went up against you, and he couldn't beat Janoris Jenkins.
He could. Well, no. Here's a good one right here on the show when they had who was that? Who was the cornerback for the Cowboys? Xavier Woods.
Okay.
Yeah. They had him going. They had one-on-ones. They had him going up against Dez, right? So Dez beat him on a corner route. So Dez looked at him and threw the ball at him. He said, "Okay."
That wasn't Woods. That was that other corner, Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis. Dez threw the ball at him. He said, "Oh, you gonna throw the ball at me?"
Yeah.
You gonna throw? Okay. So so now they going back. First of all, see how immature Dez was. They're doing stretching exercises. They're steady up talking. The whole team doing stretching exercises. They're steady up talking noise to Jordan Lewis. And then he winds up walking. The whole team was doing stretching exercises. He winds up walking off the field. So Jason Garrett said, "Okay, let's do a one-on-one." On the one-on-one, Dez could not get separation until he pushed off.
Yeah.
Until when he pushed off, that's when he got separation and he got the ball. But he had to push out to do it. And Woods, not Woods, God, why I keep
Jordan
Lewis was saying, why you push me off? Why you push off? And then Dez gonna get back in his face. I'm like, dude, what is team camaraderie?
And you know, it made me think about our receivers. I mean, you know, we've had some great receivers, but I don't think any of them measure up to Michael Irvin.
No.
Because Mike loved for you to throw down the sideline.
There were some times Michael Irvin got away pushes too.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Irvin knew how to do it though.
But what receivers don't push out.
Right. All of them do.
All of them push out one way or another. Even your line do in an illegal clip.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get away with it, you get away with
But the
it.
difference is Irvin will catch that ball.
He gonna catch it.
Yes, he will.
He gonna catch it.
He gonna catch it.
Only time you remember Irvin dropping the ball is in the NFC Championship game against San Francisco, and Troy even threw it to him, and Irvin had it, and it slipped and went right by him.
Right by him.
But that happened.
Yeah, and it does happen.
That happens.
But not
But
consistent.
not
Brian more than all.
Not on a consistent basis where you start
Right.
counting his drops. That's what we
Right.
did with T.O.
I was finna say Terrell Owens was another one.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
dropped a lot of balls
Yeah.
and
Wait.
still
He did
talking
all
to
of
me.
it.
Start talk. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna talk noise, I got
Back it
that.
up.
But shoot, catch the ball.
But Michael backed his up.
He
Yeah.
backed up. And
Mike
Mike-
he didn't know when to talk. He didn't talk to his players. He didn't talk crazy to his teammate. He talked crazy to the opponent.
Uh-huh.
He got in their head.
he was a part of that team.
Yeah.
And when things were wrong, he just went, hey, let's get,
Right. He motivated.
Brian up and down and screaming at coaches and stuff like that. I mean,
Even in the coaches' room, in a coaches' meeting, I mean, it was sitting there talking to Dooley.
yeah.
I mean, Dooley's sitting there and he was just listening like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
And even in all receivers meetings, he the only one talking. Receivers just sitting there, he the only one talking. In these meetings, the only one talking. I'm like, no, you can't have a team like that. If we gonna go forward, we gotta have a team that's cohesive.
Right.
You can't. And we don't need our receivers to be superstars. I just need you to catch the ball.
I think after looking at that series, you kind of understood why the Cowboys may have not elected him to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw some stuff we couldn't even see on TV or ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think what I got out of that series, someone said, I don't know if it was Sean Lee or someone was saying, we knew the cameras was there, but as the season wore on, we just totally forgot they were there.
Mm-hmm.
So what you saw really is what happened.
Yeah. What do you think about? What is your opinion now about Jason Garrett?
He's a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a coach.
He's not as soft as I thought
Oh,
he
yeah.
He's
was.
not as soft as what you thought. He's one way with the meter, and he's another inside that room when no one is looking.
Yeah.
Let me put it like this. I'm not gonna take too much away from him, but I'm not gonna give him a whole lot.
But you gotta watch that series though. It will change your mind. 'Cause I didn't like Jason Garrett.
He is
not as
I thought
robotic.
he was too soft, and I thought he was a robot.
Okay, that's part of his job. But part of his job also is to coach in the game. You coming up with elementary plays, man.
Well, here's what he does though, and I've seen a lot of coaches do this. A lot of coaches allow their coordinators to call
To
the
run that side of the ball.
All of them allow the coordinators to run that side of the ball, and
it's one thing. Jimmy Johnson did the same thing, but if it got to the point that when Jimmy needed to step in, he stepped in.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got to know when to step in. Mm-hmm. You can't be double guessing yourself, your ability. You got to know how to make a decision right on the spot, and don't be afraid and double question yourself. Was that a good decision?
Well, like when he like against I think it was against it was against Seattle. It was third. It was first and goal on the 3-yard line, and you got Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, and you did not pass. You passed the ball all
the whole time.
That was
But now he used to make good decisions. You remember? I think it was like the first year he was coaching.
Yeah, when he was like
coordinator, 4th and 1,
mm-hmm.
he had a high percentage of going for it and accomplishing what he needed.
But I think what he may have done. I think what he have done is he may have given up too much of the range to the coordinators, and not to say, hey, now this is what we're going to run. You find a play like this right here. Because last year, when he was coach of the year, we didn't have no problem.
Well, okay, I'm even looking at he
not
giving
like
too
year
much
for last.
to the defensive coordinator. Okay, I understand we might not have top players in every position, but a good defensive coordinator know how to disguise his weakness.
Yeah, but Marinelli,
You know what I'm saying?
but you can only disguise it so much when look, Marinelli, I think is a good coordinator, good defense coordinator, and he was working miracles even.
Why you think he never blitz?
Because you don't have the personnel.
Thank you. So you have to know how to disguise that.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, when it was 2 years ago, what you talking about 2 years ago, when it was 13-3, he was a coach. He was a coach. You can't be a dumb coach the next year. I mean, you can't be a coach year 1 year, next year you fall off.
Okay.
You lose your top players.
You think that was a smart move for him to have all rookies in his back as DB? He got rid of all his veterans.
I think so. You know why? Because I'm going to tell you why. Because they're trying to build for a future, not just for that year. They're building for the future.
Well,
and if you get these young guys in here now,
Brandon Carr,
Barry Church. But I understand that.
All of them was like trash.
But you still have to have some. Why not go get a veteran somewhere else?
Because they're trying to build young. This team.
But that's what I'm saying. A player that's actually on the field that's a vet. Okay, he can do more with those rookies than that coach himself, because he's able to actually show them.
No, I agree with that, but I'm saying Dallas at the time, I thought they were saying, you know what? Let's gut this whole backfield out, and we're gonna take whatever hit we can take.
I hope it pays off.
And because I like Lewis.
Jordan Lewis.
I like Jordan Lewis. I like Woods.
Chidobe.
I like him. And then they moving Byron Jones to cornerback.
Corner.
You know, they still got Jeff Heath, who saved the dang season last year or something like, you know.
Jeff Heath.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying I like the fact that let's gut this whole thing out and take the hit. And they didn't even take a hit because it was 13-3 the year before last.
Now,
last year.
Now I do want to add. What really bothered me is Barry Church went to Jacksonville and had a Pro Bowl year.
He did.
But didn't have none of those years here.
He did.
That bothered me because now I'm thinking the coaching.
That's what I'm thinking coaching. But what did they do? They got rid of every coach except the offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, and Gary Brown, the running backs coach. Everybody else is gone.
That caught my eye though. I'm like, he becomes a Pro Bowler going to a different defense.
And everybody else is gone.
But he was the same player there as he was with the Cowboys.
And then guess what they brought in? They brought in Legion of Boom coach. Seattle, the defense back.
Chris Bouchard.
And they're saying this dude right here is teaching us stuff we ain't never seen before. Your coaching had a lot to do with that.
But,
you know,
they
put you in position.
When that started with the coordinator.
The coordinator is a defense coordinator. He's not one-on-one with each one of the players. That's why you got.
He shouldn't have to.
No, but that's why you have position coaches.
But he should know every position.
No, he does. But I'm saying he's not one-on-one. So you got position coaches to do their job. Position coaches were not doing their jobs. That's why everybody gone except Gary Brown.
Well, this season will tell.
It will.
It would tell.
Yeah, it will.
After this one, I think the coordinator will be gone next.
Yeah.
Because you done got rid of all your assistants.
It better work. Yeah.
You know, I mean, really, to be honest with you, I think Jason ought to be on the chopping block soon.
I think he's.
If you cannot tell, you got a fresh quarterback, you got a fresh running back.
I gave you everything you need. Now we need to see you do something.
So in other words, you supposed to be from Princeton, and they say they're supposed to be able to think.
Yeah, let's see that Princeton stuff.
There you go.
But I think, I mean, like I said, about watching that show, man, it changed my whole perspective of Jason Garrett because I thought he was a robot. I thought he was, you know, and matter of fact, he's running the meetings. Jerry Jones come in and say, "Hey, what you doing?" They don't even. Yeah, they don't even. They don't speakerphone. And then he gone. And then Jason Garrett, and he said, and he'll tell his coaches, "I need you to run it my way." He actually said that. I need y'all to do it my way. This is Jason Garrett's way. Do it my way. Don't do it nobody else's way. Don't do it this way. Do it my way.
Well, if that's the case, do you believe Stephen had a lot to do with that?
With making Jason Garrett
be accountable.
Yeah. No, but Jason Garrett has always been an accountable person.
No. Not,
Yeah.
no. Because
Every meeting he had.
Jerry.
No. That's where you're wrong. Every meeting he had, he's always said, you know what, this one's on me. This is on me, right? This is on me. Am I correct? He was always accountable when he made mistakes. He was never not accountable.
No, I think he felt like, well, I look at it like this. He made enough money to take the blame, regardless.
I just think, if knowing Jason Garrett, he's just that type of person anyway. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how much money he made, he's just that type of person anyway. You know, he will if he's accountable, but then he'll hold everybody else accountable too. Right. You know, he'll talk about the running backs and, you know, how y'all not doing this and that, or the receivers. You know, that game against Denver, man, he went off.
Mm-hmm. He was so embarrassed.
Off on the team. He went totally off on the team.
Well, I never heard him use the F-bomb.
Right. He went slap off.
He used that word maybe almost 200 times in that whole series.
It was like every other word. He went slap off on the team. It was like, okay. And, you know,
it was an embarrassment.
Yeah. And
the team was healthy.
Yeah.
All your stars, and boy, you just got throttled by that defense.
And you called him out too.
Yeah.
You called him out. Although the portion where they talk about Ezekiel Elliott,
they must have been out part of it.
They had to do something. But the portion where they talk about Ezekiel Elliott, Jerry Jones, like, well, I know. Running back, and they don't even call it names; they call them numbers.
21.
Yeah, I know 21. This, that, and the other. And Jerry Jones, like, you know, put him up. It was something like call him out. Tell him what he did, this, that, and the other. But remember, he's still going through a lot of stuff too.
In that game, he had 9 carries for 8 yards.
Yeah. But just think about it though. He didn't know if he was going to suit up or not. So you living week to week, not knowing what you're gonna do. That's gotta be frustrating.
Now that the suspension is passed, the issues is passed.
Now let's see what you
got. What did you do in off season to really step up? Now I applaud him when he was on suspension, how he went and got in better shape.
Yeah, he was.
But the Cowboys and they got the boy. So, he
beat. I wish I could have gone with him.
He went out and got beat up. And I think he's got a chip on his shoulder this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be very explosive.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna not just this year, but for the duration of his
career. Yeah. So I actually got a minute and a half. What you got?
We're closing out the show?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 events that we need to remind you of that are coming up this weekend. And, of course, we had Cheryl Smith on the show. And the weekend event is Don't Believe the Hype Celebrity Bowl-a-thon. It's June 23rd at 6 p.m. at the USA Bowl on Composite Drive off 35 and Walnut Road in Dallas, Texas. So that's this weekend. And they're on Eventbrite, and we sent out a newsletter today that has the information in it as well.
Yeah.
So you can get tickets. I think she's still accepting players for teams,
yes,
sponsorships, donations, and stuff like that. And then we have the Power Conference. We had Coach Zach Woodfin on last Tuesday, and his conference is this Saturday as well. It starts at 7:30 a.m. It's a coaches conference, the Power Conference, and so they have some speakers and things like that. It goes from 7:30 in the morning to 5:45 in the evening. So it's strengthening coaching, training, etc. So that's going on. And you can also go to Eventbrite or go to their website, powerconference.info, to get information.
All right. Any last words? Any parting words?
I would like to see the Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And I would like to see Zeke Elliott get the Super Bowl MVP so he can stand in the middle of the field and see if he will shake Roger Goodell's hand.
What you got?
And then next week's He Say, She Say question is, if your spouse is bad in bed, should you tell them? And how do you tell them?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
How do you tell them?
Tell it.
How do you tell them?
Just tell it like it is.
Girl, move over. Let me show you.
Answer that next week, boy.
All right. You got any party words?
We'll have it.
Hey, y'all have a blessed week and do what you do.
Those
in
my
this
wings.
spirit. Why you interrupting me?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Remember, your life is two ways. It could be a warning or example for someone else.
All right.
Amen.
All right. This has been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411radionnetwork.com. We will see you back here next week. And remember, the Mavericks pick 5th this Thursday.
This
So
Thursday.
be sure to watch the draft. The Mavericks pick 5th this Thursday.
They're
Obama.
gonna miss her.
Play your music.
You think you may get him?
No, they might get Junior. That boy Junior. Well, let him about business.
Dunkins.
Huh? No, they gonna get a tall white stiff.
They good at that.
All right.
Boy,
We'll see you when we
boy.
see you.
All right.
Music,
Peace
maestro.
out.
Yeah, let it go. Where's the music?
You don't know.